Good morning, everybody. Happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday here on Hoop Spaces. Also, happy day 2 of Amazon Prime Day and the James Webb Telescope Extravaganza. Different format, getting ready to be tested out here in the show leading up to next season. Different type of show card is up there. If you could go ahead and like and retweet that. The reason why is I'm putting out 2 different cards every day since Twitter created this automatic card. So the idea now is to put up the card that they put up, and we'll finish the thread on that so we can keep the jumbotron as clear as possible, because some other people say that there's a lot of stuff up there. Anyway, I digress. It's Wednesday. It's trash day where I'm at. Normally, trash days in the media world are on Friday, so you can throw that out there and bury the lead. But we got some trash to take out today, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the Los Angeles Lakers. I hate to say it. I look at their offseason objectively, and for what they had and what they needed to do, they were successful. But I ask you the question, were they successful enough? I don't think so. And I'd say that because I think the Timberwolves have leaped the Lakers for that 6th or 5th spot in the West. We'll get to that. Also, apparently Diana Taurasi, she's still at it. If you watch the replay, apparently kicking Sylvia Fowles in the groin at the WNBA All-Star game. Blake Wesley, 3 for 20. Chill. On the whole, he's better than DeJounte Murray aspect. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We'll get started in 10. Be right back. All right. Good morning, everybody. Can't wait to get started. Big question up on the stage that I'm going to have for you is, do you eat these types of French fries? All right. Like, a lot of y'all might think this is, um, diversion into like a food take, but most of my food takes are legit, and they're based on a philosophical principle. So my question to you, as I put this up here, plant-based trash, prove me wrong. All right. So if you've got anything to say about that, we'll have that in there as well. We're looking at getting our trivia round up. I have a semi write-up for bench warmers. Maybe we'll get a preview of our debate show. Want to give a huge shout out to Domo popping up in here. I see 808s here. Zach Ramey of the Off the Glass podcast. Rico Suave of 77 Spaces. CJ the Unathletic. And Adam Armbrecht of Locked On Nets. All right. Do me the favor, ladies and gentlemen. The very first tweet, if you can like and retweet that, I definitely will be appreciative. Domo, you're already having some technical difficulties. You might have to leave and come back in. Also up on stage, Sage Alvarez, one of the members of Team Zeke, which is a great platform if you're looking on how to grow on Twitter. All right, there we go. Good morning, everybody. We'll get our mornings on. Zach, if you can hear me, it looks like you have to exit out and come back in. We'll go to Domo first. Domo, good morning. How you doing, bro?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You wild for the Blake Wesley take, considering I had already said he was a better prospect than DeJounte after he went 3 for 20. But I didn't come here to get Spurs propaganda off. I came to do a victory lap on my KD take yesterday. And also to tell 808 you don't want no smoke.
Leading right off the gate with the smoke towards 808s. I love it. Zach, good morning, bro. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. I had a brief moment. I saw the Katie and Kyrie thing, and I said I had to jump in here real quick. Hope all is well.
Yeah, man, everything is good. DA came by yesterday and the day before, so that's always good. Healing is a good thing. Time heals wounds and stuff like that. We've had a great convo on the W, but KD and Kyrie staying, like, I after last night, I give up. Right? They're staying. No, but they're not going anywhere, because if they were going to go somewhere after this far into free agency, knowing whether or not Ayton is signing the offer sheet is meaningless at this point. Either they're going to go or they're not going to go. And right now, I'm not lying. Looks like they're not going. And that's really just the way the market shaped out. 808s, I'll go to you. We'll pick up Adam, and then we'll introduce Sage Alvarez. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning to the good people of Hoop Spaces. I see JFK is lingering. I've seen the tweets, so I know it's coming. Domo, it is 9:07 Central Time here in Northern Texas, and you are already with the BS. I don't know why. I don't know what I did to you, but okay.
Hey, man, I'm around. I'm cleared. I was in the gym this morning. Just want you to know that I'm available whenever you want.
I heard you were struggling this morning too. How'd that go?
Man, bro, my lungs didn't like me, but they're gonna be strong enough to beat you.
We're gonna see about that.
If the people don't know, down below, there is a one-on-one game getting ready to take place. Domo versus 808s. We are looking to have Evan Townsend officiate it so that we know it's on the up and up and that we're not sending somebody to the hospital with like a multiple.
Who is Evan? Tony Brothers? Come on now.
Evan Townsend. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Why gotta call him messed up?
Also, I got the I made an executive decision that since you be in Frisco, we can go to the headquarters basketball court, the Frito-Lay headquarters basketball court. It's open outside. We don't even need guest passes.
Well, hold on. Who said I'd be in Frisco?
Chris said you'd be out there covering the big three.
On the weekends, yeah.
You can come up there, get you a nice little L.
Bro, I don't be nowhere near Frisco, bro.
I'll get you some free Gatorade. Call it out.
I don't drink Gatorade.
Wow. Oh, well. There's another reason why KD and Kyrie are likely to stay, at least for the time being. The Jazz have now done their fifth 180 on Donovan Mitchell and have now said again for another time that they are listening to offers, which is hilarious because like they literally are only listening to two teams since Brooklyn doesn't seem to want, Spider. We got that coming up here. Let me hop in and give it to Sage Alvarez. What's up, Sage? It's good to see you come up. After you, we'll hit up Hawks Fan TV and Zach again.
Hey, what's going on, Chris, man? Thank you for having me on the show. I lean it towards more of them staying and then working it out over the other options that are available on the table right now. I just see no way that the Kyrie goes to the Lakers. I mean, I'm a Laker fan, but I think it's pretty ridiculous that we're talking about Russell Westbrook and maybe a first to get the deal done, or maybe two firsts. Like it just seems like it's a complete joke. And I've not been falling for the bait. I just feel it's been more like just gossip and not like really like legit actually trade rumor. And then the KD rumors, I don't see any deal where they really will get value for KD like that, just based off his age and injury, and dealing with the guy that can easily ask for a trade by next year.
Yeah, I would say that with the Kyrie news to the Lakers, like the idea that they were just going to trade straight up, that was just never going to happen. You can't even do that with the salary cap. You'd have to add in Joe Harris or multiple pieces to do a straight up deal, and that's just not going to happen. You're not, and then with KD's value, you're simply not going to receive KD's value. Like nobody in their right mind is going to give what the Nets asked if that's what they perceive KD's value, because it would gut their entire team to put KD on to make a run. And at that point, you're treading water, right? And KD wouldn't want to make that move, I don't think, if you're going to move from the Nets where you have at least on paper two other accompanying stars, right?
They were talking about Ant Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, and like 4 firsts. I mean, I just don't think they're even being realistic at this point. I think that they got Anthony Edwards at this point. It looks like it's a steal, like for the Nets. I don't know how much. I think everyone's playing hardball with the Nets because of where their chips are. It's like taking advantage of someone at the Texas Hold'em table because they have no chips, but you have a stack of them on you right now. And I just don't think the Nets have really any chips in their favor right now. I think that they have two disgruntled superstars who are just increasingly lowering their value every chance they get.
All right. I want to get Hawks Fan TV in here. Then we're going to go to Zach Ramey to get his take because he's going to hop in here and give us a great breakdown We'll also talk to, well, Adam just popped out. I was hoping to catch him before he had to, from Locked On Nets. Go ahead, Alex from Hawks Fan TV.
Good morning, everyone. Love the poker reference, Sage. I just actually am coming back from a poker game, but first and foremost, I want to take this time because this is the first time I've been able to speak to this certain individual since this event occurred. But I want to give my sincerest thank yous to my good friend Domo there for the DeJounte Murray trade.
I freaking knew it.
Hold on. I'm being nice. I just want to say thank you for the organization of San Antonio. And you should be happy. You should be grateful because DeJounte Murray will actually be able to see him in a playoff-like atmosphere on a playoff contending team. So I appreciate that.
He's conference.
Hey, yo, Alex, all I know is y'all better make it work in the next 2 years or it's over with for nothing.
He played in the conference finals, Alex. He was a starter in the conference finals before.
I'm talking about recently. But yeah, no, DeJounte is going to be a great addition in Atlanta, and he fits the culture. So thank you for that. Also, the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors, right? We see a lot of fans of certain teams, predominantly the New York Knicks, hesitant of trading for Donovan Mitchell. And I get it. It is a little scary backcourt with Jalen Brunson and Donovan. You got 2 6-foot guards that would give up 90 points a night by themselves. But I feel like you still have to make the move. It brings some excitement back to the city. He's a bona fide all-star. And the fact that I see some fans even hesitant on moving on a couple of guys like Quentin Grimes and RJ Barrett to acquire someone like Donovan Mitchell, who would instantly become the best player on that team, is baffling to me. It's surprising, but hey, what do I know? And congrats to them for signing Jalen Brunson, who's not even a top 10 player for his position, but they're acting like he's a top 30 player in the NBA. It's hilarious.
Well, market, dude. We say this all the time. You can't attack the market. Like, you can say that they signed Jalen Brunson and you don't like the fit or you don't think he's representative of whatever tier, but the market's the market, right? Like, he was the preeminent point guard on the market this offseason. He was going to get the largest deal. That's just how it rolls. Zach, what you got, man?
So the KD and Kyrie thing, I thought from the beginning, and that's why I entitled that podcast, The Step Brothers, that KD only asked out to help Kyrie get moved and give Kyrie leverage because he had no leverage. I've been going around saying that Kyrie has NBA talent, but YMCA off the court issues, like how we say NBA move, YMCA finish, and he had no leverage. So KD was really doing him a solid because it never made sense. And I think people are missing, Chris, in my opinion. The league is in a huge transition right in front of everybody's eyes. While we're doing all this debates and all this other stuff, people are really missing what's going on right in front of us. We see all these young stars emerging into stars, all-stars, superstars, all the guys that we came accustomed of watching. Now I'm old enough to see that a generation is watching their great player age out in LeBron James, just like how we saw Michael Jordan age out. And now we're seeing a transition. So with that being said, nobody's trading young assets, even if they haven't proved themselves yet, like a Scotty Barnes, for 4 years of KD. It just because if Scotty Barnes is happy there, and it looks like he might be ingrained in the culture, because I follow people from Canada. Shout out to the Good Rookies podcast, Fahim and Nelly J. Scotty Barnes is going to events. He's in Canada now. Like, he's going to the NBL games and stuff like that. So let's say hypothetically he stays 10 years. Would you want to give up 10 years of a potential Scotty Barnes for maybe 2 to 3 prime years of KD? So, Chris, I think ultimately that's what's going on right now. We have so many young, talented guys that we don't want to give up our talents for KD. And then also, KD fans got to understand this. That Celtics series kind of was troubling in a lot of ways, because now it's showing, all right, the question whether it's fair or not, is he aging? Number one. Number two, was he always kind of that number one guy, or is he a number one all NBA talented type guy, but he still needs other pieces to win? Because they got swept. So I think this is all on the table. I thought they were going to stay the whole time because none of it just made any sense to me. And I thought in theory, if everybody's saying KD's supposed to be the best or second best player in the league, I don't have him as that, but let's say you say he is, then why isn't him at that level, Kyrie, let's see what Ben Simmons can do, a healthy Joe Harris, why isn't that enough? Because either he is what he is or he isn't. So you can't have it both ways. So for me, Chris, it just never made sense that they would try to move both of them because I knew they would never get equal or even close value back in return.
Get your podcast link up here because that was a dope episode. I caught the first 15. I'm going to finish it because I thought that the way you attacked it was phenomenal, especially with the title. Not going to lie, that's what made me click on it. That was real good clickbait and what you did.
Well, make sure you finish it out because I had a special message for Steven Jackson and anybody else that likes glorifying the violence in my city and coming to my city and doing ignorant, stupid things. So make sure you finish it.
I will. I'll probably finish it on the way to pick up my son from swimming today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Off the Glass podcast, Mondays. Check it out. It drops every Monday, literally every Monday. It's probably one of the top 10 independent, objective podcasts that you're going to be able to listen to. No ties to anybody allows a content creator to speak their mind, and as long as that content creator goes through and gives their methodology and shows the facts that they used, that is a good sign of a podcast that you might want to listen to, and that's what the Off the Glass podcast avails to you. All right. We've got Tej, CJ, and Chris up here. The poll is up, ladies and gentlemen. The poll is up. A big three of KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons, end up as what? A top 6 seed, a play-in tournament, or out of the playoffs. Go ahead and vote and retweet that. We'll go to Tej first. Tej, good morning. Then we got Chris up here and CJ. I want to give a shout out down below to Maliika Walker of The Rewind. Also to Rico Suave, a.k.a. Paradox Killer 23. Speak on it, Rolo, for 77 spaces. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the pickup card game is in the building. You can catch it over at slamgoods.com where you can pick up your own copy. $25 for a first edition, coming off a fantastic WNBA All-Star weekend where he was one of the only 7 fans who got to take part in the events. I joke halfway.
Hey, hold on, Chris.
What's up? What's up? Oh, you gonna tell me to hold up and cut out?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Listen, hold on. So I checked that poll. The highest you gave the Nets was a 6 seed, a top 6.
Top 6, bro. Like, what do you want? That's the playoffs.
Bro,
giving you a wide.
That's so disrespectful. That's cool though.
How's it disrespectful?
It's disrespectful as fuck, man. Top 6 seed? Are you serious? Without Kyrie and without Ben Simmons, they were top 1 in the East. KD was a top 2 MVP candidate before he got hurt. What are we talking about, man?
What are we talking about? You don't know how the season's going to progress.
Right. I know what you're doing. You're on that BS. It's cool. It's pure BS.
Did the Hawks get better?
Okay,
or worse?
They got better, but you're just saying top 6 seed is like that's the highest they can be.
So they got better. So top 6 seed is 1 through 6, right?
That's what I thought. Maybe I thought you meant 1 through 6, Chris. Like they can reach like 6 being the lowest, all the way up to number 1. That's how I interpreted
that. Exactly how it works. 1
through
6.
You know what you're doing, man. It's nasty.
I don't look
like
man,
you almost got 2,000 followers. All you still got to do with this clickbait shit.
This is not clickbait. Literally, top 6 means 1 through 6, bro. Like, what do you want me to do? Say top 3?
Yes.
If I did top 3,
say that.
Then I have to do top 3. Then I have to do 4 through 6. Then I have to do play-in, and then I have to do out the playoffs. Like, nah, man, 1 through 6. It's too easy.
I'll tell you who will be a top 6 seed: the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh yeah, the Hawks are top 3 seed.
Shit.
Bulls are still top 6 without Lonzo.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, the whole KD Kyrie thing. Yeah, that's it. They're staying. There's no way. And the whole thing with like the Raptors and Scotty Barnes. I mean, people are forgetting. Like Raptors fans literally laughed at KD and like were like happy that KD injured himself there during that one series. So it's just like there's no way that's happening. At least in my mind, I wouldn't go to a team that laughed at me if I tore my shit. So it's just that I agree with what Zach was saying about the thing of what was he saying, Zach? Can you explain what you were saying again about
Just basically that, you know, we see a bunch of young talent. Like, it's a renaissance in the league right now. It's changing over. So would you give up your young players for KD at this time in his career?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, there's just no way that the Nets would, or that any other team would give up what they have right now for the asking price of KD, especially with the price that DeJounte and Rudy Gobert had went previously. So I feel like they're just holding up the free agency market at this point for Ayton and stuff. So it's just nothing's going to happen. But Hawks are definitely going to be a 3 seed. That's for sure. So.
Hey, yo, off-ball Trae Young is an MVP candidate, man.
Dude,
I hate to break it to you.
The numbers, man.
Like, look what he was doing already.
Best.
And you're telling me I'm giving clickbait. Chris, what's up, man? Good morning.
Good morning. What's up, y'all? Thank you for inviting me in.
You're welcome. Like, keep going.
Oh, my fault.
There you go.
Yeah. So before I start, right? I want to see that video of Domo and whoever it is playing 1-on-1, right?
Oh yeah. No, I keep telling them it's 808s and Domo. I need the day, the time, and the video. I need the video.
Yeah, that'll be.
We need to see this 1-on-1 happen.
Yep. But
all right, what do you think of the Nets?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard because, like, I know they were trying to get they were asking for somebody mentioned it earlier, they were asking for the Timberwolves. They were asking for what's his name, Anthony Edwards and whatever that was. And I feel like the asking price is pretty steep, so I'm not sure any teams are going to like jump on it. So they, like y'all said, they actually might stay. They might end up staying because it's like, you know, what do you want to get? Like, I don't see realistically they're getting anything back of like some sort of value. So they might actually stay. So, and I mean, and they should stay because, like I said, I think last time I said they got the best chances for them to stay in order to if you want to compete for a championship. Because if you do move, they're going to be KD's going to be somewhere is like, okay, he's going to be like the main guy, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah,
that's why I've said from the beginning, and a lot of people don't like it, and it's not in the news. The only team that has given them an offer that isn't changing, that gives you KD's production and more, plus young players, plus picks, resides in Philadelphia.
Yep.
With Toronto not giving up Scotty Barnes.
Exactly.
With Minnesota not giving up any of their young players, with them not wanting a Donovan Mitchell, with Phoenix not giving up Devin Booker, the only team that has had a consistent offer of production, young players, and picks has always been the Philadelphia 76ers. That's why they're not being talked about. That's my opinion.
I agree.
Yep. All right.
And then you said, you know, the vote, right, of KD, if KD and can, you know, if they stay, can they be like a top 6 team or six seed or something? I think, yeah, because I mean, who knows? I mean, hopefully they be healthy, and then they just picked up TJ Warren. Hopefully he's healthy and he can give you like at least 20. And then of course if they keep either Seth or Joe, you know, you got some shooting around him. And then Patty Mills, when he's good, he can shoot it a bit. So,
when he's good.
I think when he's good, because he has some off nights, but when he's good, he can shoot.
All right, I want to get in CJ's voice here. Good morning, CJ. You can listen to the Unathletic Pod every Friday, and look, unathletic people they watch sports, and I hate to tell you this, most unathletic people know just as much about the sport because that's all they do. They research, and they get a different perspective. No, they won't get the perspective of what a player goes through, but when you do this, you become a better fan of the game. And that's the perspective that he tries to approach here on the Unathletic Podcast, dropping every Friday. CJ, good morning.
Good morning, Chris, and good morning to the citizens of Hoop Spaces. I actually wanted to kind of speak on even Zach's point, because that's something that I've been preaching about, the whole KD Kyrie situation. And my whole thing is that there are no teams who want to give up their young assets, because you look at Golden State, they don't want to give up none of their young guys. You look at Minnesota, didn't want to give up their young guys. Boston is out of the conversation because they don't want to give up any of their guys. So, like, I've been preaching that the only way KD specifically gets moved is if it is a 3 or 4 team trade, because realistically, with their asking price, unless they drop it down, no one team is going to sit there and say, we're going to mortgage the farm for KD. No one is going to do that. It doesn't matter if they're in a win now situation or not. GMs have to look at the short term, the present, and the long term when it comes to making deals. That's why deals don't get made just in split-second conversations or in one phone call conversation. So at the end of the day, like, obviously, like, this deal isn't going to get done. And I imagine that by the end of Summer League, that free agency is probably going to start kicking up again, and teams are going to start making more moves, because obviously part of it too is the fact that these teams are looking at all these young guys in the Summer League teams and looking at who's going to fill out their training camp rosters and things of that nature. So, like, to me, KD and Kyrie won't come to a solution until probably going into the next season, or might not even happen then, depending on how things roll out through the rest of the offseason. And then the other thing I want to bring up, and it's more of a question, is that I read something that said that Kyrie never wanted to leave Brooklyn to begin with. Don't know how true that is, but supposedly he never asked for a trade or asked to leave Brooklyn, which is counter to what's been reported, which is that he's been telling everybody he going to LA and that's where he want to go. But supposedly they saying that Kyrie never wanted to leave Brooklyn in the first place. So I don't know if anybody knows if there's any legitimacy to that report, but that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, look, the one thing that we didn't get into is the idea of posturing, right? The Nets postured themselves after the Gobert trade to try to capitalize on the market, more than likely for two reasons. Either a team was going to pay them the amount that Gobert fetched the Utah Jazz, or they would put KD in a position where they would have to say, we are not getting what we want. So either you're going to have to go to a place you don't want to go to, or you're going to have to come back and play. The idea of, was this a flex from KD to try to help Kyrie get the max? My opinion is it doesn't matter, because if he had gotten a shot or if he had been able to work out a way to play, he probably gets the max anyway, right? So all we're seeing is two sides facing a stalemate, and they don't want to admit that there's a stalemate. Because the moment that one side admits that there's a stalemate, there is no way to resolve the issue. It's like a bad relationship, right? If you're in a bad relationship and you don't talk about it while it's starting to go bad, when you get close to your breaking point, there isn't really any recourse. There's no way to sit down and backtrack in conversation to a point of time when you were both on the same page. Like, that's the feeling I get in watching Brooklyn from the outside. Locked On Nets are going to have a podcast later today talking about it, and I think if you want some more outside information, I say that because the majority of people in here aren't Nets fans. Check in with Adam in the Locked On Nets podcast. Maliika, you are a Nets fan. We're going to go to you next. We have KP. He'll come up here and burn down the Barclays Center with some verbal vitriol. We got a couple more people wanting to come up. If you are up on stage and you haven't done it yet, do us the favor, please. The very first tweet that's up there, it's the show card. If you can like and retweet that, shoot a follow so that you can find us wherever we go here on Twitter It is much appreciated. Maliika, good morning. Man, 808 is going to be having.
Hey, Chris, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
So, like you mentioned earlier about the market, right? So, shouldn't they offer Kyrie the max? Because, like, what else is out there? So, why don't you just give him what he wants, and then y'all could be straight, right?
Well, that is an ownership and front office issue, and if you are the front office or the ownership, if you're gonna pay the player the max, you're gonna want him to play. Like after this season and even close to the end of last season, like would you give him the max?
Yeah, because like you said, it's based on the market. Like what else is out there? Kyrie is a superstar, and maybe
Well,
like
the market,
throw some incentives out there, and maybe he'll be
all
like,
the market's gonna do is dictate the amount of salary you're paying on the contract. The
right.
issue is, do you trust Kyrie to play? And Joe Tsai probably does not.
Yeah, but like I said, like maybe they can throw some incentives out there. Maybe that'll work or something. I don't know.
Well, what incentives do you want to add? Those the question,
Like
right?
like for him to play a certain amount of games, and I don't know.
That's that'll happen in contract negotiations, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they have what's considered likely incentives and unlikely incentives, and maybe they put it in the unlikely incentives. But if they put it in the unlikely incentives, then it's not that he's not getting that money, and then it's really just for show.
Oh, okay,
Like
yeah,
they are in a bad situation. Like let
yeah.
me explain.
So
This type of situation really hasn't existed, at least in my eyes, since Charles Barkley with the Sixers back in 86, 87.
yeah, that's way too behind my age.
So there you go. Maliika, if you're back with us, hop in here and give us your thoughts. If not, we'll move to KP. Logan is up here. And if you don't know, Logan's another great follow. A vet like myself, and he writes for Canis Hoopus, which is a great it's actually hard to explain without laughing because I keep wanting to say something different. It's a great actual verified platform for all Wolves fans to follow. There's something else with Canis in it, and my mind went somewhere bad. I'll get into him. Maliika, you there? If not, KP, pick up.
Good morning, wide world of sports. It's an old reference. Look it up. Thank you, Chris. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Chris, I just posted something in the Jumbotron or whatever you guys are calling it nowadays. I'm 11 months strong, Chris. 11 months of being right on everything that I said. You guys going to listen to me one day. Listen to me now. Believe me later on. Let's tear down the Barclays Center together. It's a homeless shelter full of bums. So it doesn't need government approval to be torn down. It's a wrecking ball away. We need the subway system back. Get these people up out of my borough. They don't want to be here. Kick them out. But I would say the Nets GM owner playing very good chess. They said if the market is telling me that you ain't worth it, you ain't getting it. Because there's only a market if it's more than two people bidding on something. If it's only one person bidding on something, it ain't a market. You're just buying something.
Okay, you make sense right there.
Yeah, Kyrie's not a market player. Other than there will be other teams looking to get him. And I wouldn't trust him to take the dog out for a walk and bring him back in time to go take a poop. It's ridiculous, man. KD, I got a lot of vitriol because once you leave the family, it's a wrap for you, sir. So I'm a lover of Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn, born and raised. Get this team out of my borough, Chris. Get them out my zip code. Get them out my area code. Shout out to Ludacris. Get them out my city. Get them out of the tri-state. They don't deserve to be in Brooklyn anymore for the shenanigans, for the posturing, for the nonsense, for everything they put this whole city through these 3 years. It was all peace and good when Kenny Atkinson was here and they was dancing on the sideline and D'Angelo Russell was shooting threes. It was all fun, but now it's all fail. So you go from fun to fail in a matter of 3 years. They didn't even graduate from college. Come on, man. Get these Nets up out of here. Send them to Seattle. That's where they belong. Send them to Seattle. Matter of fact, send them to Puerto Rico. Let Puerto Rico, they're part of the United States. Give Puerto Rico a team. Give them the Brooklyn Nets. Get them up out of here. And lastly, D-Rail Revis. Hey, Marvel fans. Seen Thor: Love and Mid? Yo, my guy Christian Bale, the guy that played Batman, said on, and I quote, "There's a lot of good stuff left on the cutting room floor." You know what that means? Marvel shot a mid-movie on purpose. Listen to me now. Believe me later on.
Shout out
to Cujo. Good him up.
You can find KP on KP Views. We're getting ready to roll out Spaces reviews as well. He'll be spearheading that. So pay attention, because there'll be an avenue for you to provide your submission and reviews. Make sure you shoot him a follow. I see that Maliika is back with us, so that's pretty good. We can wrap up the bow on round one of the Brooklyn Nets talk here. KD and Kyrie staying. Everything shows to me that they're staying. The biggest turnaround that made me think this was, again, the Utah Jazz apparently are ready to listen to offers on Donovan Mitchell that coming out last night. Maliika, go ahead and close us out for the first segment of the Nets. We'll come back with Logan and Wolves back Sabrina, and we'll talk about Lakers behind the T-Wolves, because I think that's a reality that a lot of people are starting to wake up to. Maliika, good morning.
Before I just wanted to say, Diana, I didn't appreciate Diana Taurasi kicking Sylvia Fowles at the end of the game last night, but I digress. KP, you are not. You talking about Brooklyn. You're going to hate on any New York team. So why is your opinion even relevant on this? You're a Warriors fan from 2017. To me, you jumped on the bandwagon when they were winning. That's who you are. So, goodbye. With the Nets, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. It's just been such a roller coaster. I'll see where we are when the season starts. Who's on the team? I root for the front of the jersey. I love KD, so I will always support him no matter where he goes. But I'm down for my team for whatever is on the court. I just don't know with them, especially with Kyrie. So we'll see where they are at the end of when the season starts. And if they're on my team, great. If they're not, I'll cheer for who's there. But I can't hang my hat on, it looks like. So we'll see. But that's all I have for this. Donovan Mitchell, I have no comment. Where is he going to end up? Like, who's giving up? What are people willing to give up for Donovan Mitchell?
Miami.
And we'll see.
Miami.
Hey, Chris, can I ask a question really quickly? What's a bandwagon fan? Please, can someone define that for me? Because I know little kids that just got a new iPhone. Are they bandwagon fans of the iPhone?
Warrior fans.
Are you a bandwagon fan because you just found out something is good?
When they started winning, y'all weren't there. Y'all weren't there before then. That's a bandwagon fan.
Am I a bandwagon fan of NASA because they just found out a new galaxy in space? Am I a bandwagon fan of NASA? Because they just found a new space. It's a new galaxy out there. It's about 1,000 of them. I'm a bandwagon fan of the galaxy.
I'm gonna give you the definition, because that's what you asked for first. The bandwagon fan are diehard fans not. They are the fans that only show interest and support for a sports team based on recent success and popularity. That's the definition of bandwagon fan. I don't know if KP's a bandwagon
dictionary.
Yeah, that's in the dictionary. Dictionary.com.
That's propaganda. And if it's based on success and popularity, what happens when someone just finds them because they're like, oh snap, that's something new. I didn't know that existed. Am I a bandwagon
KP,
fan?
that wasn't you though.
Stop the madness. Stop the propaganda. I'm a propagandist, and y'all can't get a propaganda off of a propaganda.
It's all good. Just accept who you are. It's all good.
Accept. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. I don't want to derail the Revis. Sorry.
The Golden State Warriors actually have their own term for the bandwagon fans, and they're called new booties. Everybody who became a new booty Warrior fan when Steph was shimmying, shaking his butt, making threes from half court.
Y'all stuck on this idea. You got to cheer for a team for 50 years and go through pain and anguish. Get that anguish. I don't go through mental therapy to root for a team. Y'all can have that. No,
Right.
sir.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir. Not me. Shout
I
out
love
Rick
my
Ross.
team through the good and the bad. It's all good. You don't have to go through that. You could be like KP and join the team and follow a team
That
that's
adjacent life.
winning.
That
You can
adjacent
do
life is
that, and
beautiful.
you can save yourself any anguish.
Maliika,
That's what the Warrior fans did. Not the old school fans. Not you guys that are old school that been there rooting for your team. I'm talking about these people that are leaving when Steph retires. That's who I'm talking about. One love.
man.
No, sir. Not me.
I'm
Shout
going to
out
be
Rick
there.
Ross.
I'm going to be with the Nets no matter who come through. And I'm just going to be because that's my team, but, the Steph Curry fans, we'll see who's there a few years after he
What's your
retires.
other team, Maliika?
Jordan,
What's
we
your
done.
other team? What's your other team?
My other team, I have two teams. My other team are the Hornets
So
because
you
I
a bandwagon
love Michael
fan.
Jordan
Her other
and I
team
support his
doesn't win a
Colin
projects. But I've
Black.
been a
championship,
Nets
KP.
fan. I've
Stop
been a
it.
Nets fan since I was in my teens. That's in my veins. That's
What's
not
I
up?
going
don't
anywhere.
cook a lot, but that's a pot Colin Black.
Well, I admit who I am. You should at least admit who you are, a bandwagon fan.
It's
That's
in my
all.
title. I'm the
There's
executive
no
hater.
shame in it.
It's
Just
in my
admit it.
bio.
I want to say what's up to Jeff J Says in the building, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get a tweet out there. You have to catch him on Spaces, or actually, better yet, catch him on the MSG networks. It's Madison Square Garden, and you can check out BetX, one of the best props and betting shows that you can find. Also, dude is huge in the Power After Hours community. That's the show. Check it out. Pop culture at its finest, Jeff J Says. T Rexy's about to come up here, y'all. And if y'all know T Rexy, y'all gonna enjoy this. We're gonna go next though to Nat, real quick, who just comes in on the back end of this, amazing fight here between Maliika and KP. And then
I
we're gonna
love
go.
KP, by the way, but
Oh,
we differ here.
and then we're
Maliika has my heart.
gonna go to Logan next and Will Sabrina, so we can get in to some Minnesota Timberwolves and Los Angeles Lakers talk. Nat, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. I'm up here solely to support Maliika. I mean, Maliika was spitting,
Wow.
and I just want to say that KP, listen, brother, listen. She roots for the Brooklyn Nets. They have not won shit in the Charlotte Hornets, and you thought that you had a flex by saying, "Tell the other team," like she was about to say the Lakers or something. She said the Hornets, like Charlotte. Like I don't. That's not a bandwagon, brother. That's like she actually likes the Hornets, and she said it proudly, and they have nothing to show for it. So I'm sorry, she got you on that, man. Like shout out to
Nat,
Maliika.
don't do this now.
KP, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I just came here to support Maliika. That's all.
I got the write up. I'm doing my write up. I'll send it back to you when I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm
Yes.
speaking of is the hit show we got coming up for you called Bench Warmers. You got a little taste of it last week between Nat and JFK. And if you look at the poll, JFK might not want to play this game against Nat because she smoked him. And what generally will happen is the person who loses gets voted off, and we get to laugh, boo, and do some hijinks and shenanigans and play some music like the Sandman came out the Apollo and hooked him around the neck. But pay attention to this space because it'll be coming soon, before you know it, to carry us through the dog days of summer when all we have left is baseball. Yeah, you hear that silence? Real quick, I want your take on Brooklyn. You had an interesting take throughout the season of the Kyrie situation. He chose to stick up for those who are anti-mandate, and hey, more power to him. I support him in his stance, but I'm also a person who supports consequence, and his decision created a whole boatload of consequences that we are still seeing the fallout of. What do you think as a Celtics fan? Did this help you and your team? And what do you see Brooklyn, doing into the offseason? And then we'll go to Logan, then Sabrina. Thanks, everybody. Good morning.
I mean, you know, I am a supporter of Kevin Durant. That is one of my favorite players, and I can separate my fandom. You know, when it comes to Brooklyn, the smartest thing to me that Katie and Kyrie can do is stay their ass in Brooklyn. I think that they have a really good shot if they just stay there and actually recuperate. Like I know you're laughing, Chris, because we swept them, whatever. That was in the past. We moving on. We don't know what they're gonna look like next year, but I just think that when it comes to Kyrie, you know, he enjoys what he does, and he enjoys turmoil. He enjoys being the one in the driver's seat. You know, this is what you know, Kyrie likes to do. You know, so he's gonna keep doing it until he's done playing basketball. Um, I know somebody said something about a contract, maybe doing an incentive. Yeah, if you play like 60 games or something like that, yeah, there should be an incentive like that. But I think that they should stay put. But this is all really contingent on if Ben Simmons, the infamous Ben Simmons. I feel like he hasn't played in 5 years, and we're just waiting. But it's all contingent if he plays, and then that team makes sense. If he doesn't, then I don't know. But I don't see anybody, you know, giving away everything for KD. He's 33, going on 34. You know, that means in 2 years he might not be happy, and then you got to trade him again and hope to get some assets back. I think he's actually going to stay put, you know, over there. And Kyrie, the only place I see him going is Lakerland, like I've been saying for months. Like I can see it because they've been kind of him and LeBron have been on this apology tour where I wish I would have treated you better kind of thing. So, you know, he either stays in Brooklyn or he goes to the Lakers. But other than that, I don't see much else happening in Brooklyn right now.
All right, appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, you should shoot Nat here a follow. She's the host of So You Think You're a GM, the best GM show and the best NBA game show here on Spaces. Coming back, I think we'll have one or two off-season episodes, but we'll also be coming here on the weekends, still on Saturday, for the best show you can have. Nat, I want to say thank you for everything that you've done, helping to grow this community. Ladies and gentlemen, she came with me, as did Maliika, Sean with the W, and several others from Clubhouse. And like it's been an entire year plus, but you weren't here for the anniversary. So like 1 year of growth here, Nat, and I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. I mean, I struggled with coming over to Twitter like in the very, very beginning of Twitter Spaces, and you said, you know, come over here and trust me, and I haven't looked back since. So I want to thank you, and you deserve all the success. I love, love, love your show. You know, I love everything you do. So, and you're on your way up.
Well, thank you. I wouldn't be here without you, or Maliika or KP. Pickup card game. I sent you a co-host invite if you didn't see it, so you can hear my voice. And don't worry, I'm not here because of Bukhari. I've given Bukhari 2 chess questions, and he's got chess in his bio, and he failed at both. Like I'm still not over that. But up next, we're going to go to a fellow brother in arms, and to that, I want to say to Logan, I thank you for your service, sir. The 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force is a big reason of why I survived one of my deployments, Logan, and I just want to say thank you. Go ahead. You are part of a great network covering the Minnesota Wolves over there at Canis Hoopus. Go ahead and come on in here and talk your shit, because picking up Gobert when nobody thought you were going to, great move. The pieces you gave, inconsequential. You've got great depth. Let's talk about it, Logan, and then we'll get Sabrina in after you.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, man, and thanks for your service as well. I admittedly am still a little salty that we gave so much up for Rudy Gobert, but I like Minnesota's like new team a lot. A lot of pieces fit way better, and like there aren't as many volatile players like Malik Beasley, for example. He shot 10 threes in a game, but usually would miss 7, 8 of them, and then every now and then would go off. Now you got someone like Jalen Noel who has more in his bag, likely taking his spot. And I honestly think that there's a chance that Minnesota is a home court advantage team.
No, I agree with you. That's why I have it up here. I have the Lakers behind the T-Wolves, right? I have the T-Wolves slotted at 5 or 6. And I just don't see the Lakers matching up with Minnesota. I just don't. So if you were to make a top 6 seed, I'm thinking with the history of the Timberwolves, that trade is a success.
Agreed, yeah. And also, I don't think the Lakers are even a playing team still.
Wow. Okay. All right.
The Lakers have Darvin Ham, and he's going to come
No.
and he's going to cure all, right?
No, Maliika, they have Troy.
Troy Brown Jr.
Yes, that guy.
They have Scottie Pippen Jr.
Well, he's going to be in the G League, but you know who they have? They got the second year of Austin Reeves, ladies and gentlemen.
Balling.
Out. Oh, man. I tell you, if there are Lakers fans.
Hey, Chris, can you be, are these young people bandwagon fans of LimeWire because they just came back out?
Wait.
Are they LimeWire bandwagon fans?
I had no idea LimeWire came back out.
Boom.
Lost, brother.
See what happens with new information?
Take your L, Casey. It's okay, brother. It's okay.
Also, speaking of taking L's, I want to give a shout out to the Cortland Christian because the Lakers, man, if you are a Laker fan, you're just going to be taking these L's until you start winning. Every day is going to be miserable for Lakers fans because you're going to take this L. Sabrina, get in here. Bukhari wants to just hop on so bad. Sabrina, get in here. Your thoughts on the Gobert trade. Do you think, like Logan, you gave up too much, or do you think, like me, it's a move that needed to be made to show that the Wolves are here to be serious contenders? And then, just talk about how much better the Wolves are going to be than the Lakers.
Okay. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. But I actually don't think that we necessarily overpaid if you think about it, because let's say, for example, the Wolves continue their winning trend that they started this year. Those first-round picks for the next 5 years plus the pick swap, more than likely going to be in the late teens to high 20s. And if we look at the Timberwolves track record picking in that area, the only person that we've picked in the high 20s that has amounted to anything in the last 2 decades is Zach LaVine. So I don't necessarily see it as we gave up too much draft capital. I think that Rudy Gobert brings something to this team that Kat, Ant, Jaden, they can all learn from. You pair that with, obviously, the all-star quality that is D'Angelo Russell, even though I was admittedly one of the people that were screaming to trade him after his abysmal performance in the playoffs. But I also think that Jaden Noel is going to be our 3-point champion, but we also did sign Bryn Forbes. So Bryn Forbes' career 3-point percentage is like 43 or 45%. So he can come in off the bench and be a 3-point general as well. The addition of Kyle Anderson is great for me as well. I really, really think that Tim Connolly aced free agency and the draft this year. Obviously, it's going to be different come the season to see it all play out. But when you have somebody who's already got good offense in Jaden McDaniels, granted he struggled a little bit, but he was only in his second year. But now that he gets to learn from Rudy Gobert in the type of defensive game that Rudy Gobert plays, he learned from Patrick Beverley last year. It's been confirmed that he's worked out with Pat Bev and Kawhi this offseason. So Jaden McDaniels is really going to elevate his game. I have the utmost faith in that. I've been a Jaden McDaniels supporter since we got him. And then Anthony Edwards. That's all you can really say. Anthony Edwards is going to be a superstar caliber player. Just trust me on that. For 1 or 2 more years, he's going to be a household name, just like any of the big stars you guys have been talking about.
Oh, he's already a household name. I don't think there's anybody that's come on Hoop Spaces in the year we've done this who's not a fan. Like everybody, when he came out and people were questioning his love for the game, we didn't. We were like, yo, it's not that he doesn't love basketball. It's that he loves kicking your ass, and he wants to beat you at everything.
Exactly. So a lot of out of like Wolves territory fans didn't get to see, but he actually did an interview with Bally Sports North up here. And the Bally Sports North interviewer asked him if it came down to any sport, what's your favorite? And he literally just looked and said, if there's money on the line, I will do what I need to do, and I will beat you in that sport. And if y'all have seen that video circulating around, the kid could probably be in the NFL if he wanted to. So,
all right, definitely appreciate you finding us. We're going to bring in some more Wolves and Lakers talk, but we're going to go next to a couple of people who will give those takes on it. But I want to make sure that T-Rexy has a chance to talk KD and Kyrie. We'll go CJ and Bukhari first, and we'll close out the top of the first hour of the show with T-Rexy. Go ahead, CJ.
So this is more of a question for the Wolves fans, because I slightly understand the move of getting Rudy Gobert, and I understand how it works on the offensive end, but I'm curious how y'all think it's going to work defensively, because I feel like having Karl Anthony Towns at the 4, like that's where I'm kind of confused on how that's going to work out.
Because he's never really been a strong rim protector, Rudy Gobert is. So if you put Rudy Gobert in at the 5, Cat gets to have a little more freedom to roam the floor, float at the 3-point line, be in the mid zone for a jumper. And I feel like he's going to be more useful than trying to post up at the rim and get beat up like he has been. And y'all are going to quit calling Cat soft after this season, let me tell you.
Yeah, Cat's a better man defender than like a team defender. He's terrible at defending in space, and having Rudy or last year Jared Vanderbilt there to like cover his mistakes and like be at the back end really helps him a lot. He'd be better defending on the perimeter than in the paint.
Yeah, don't forget also he was a point guard. He didn't get the growth spurt until senior year in high school, where he had to learn how to be a big. So he never grew up learning how to do anything other than basic post defense. And you can tell because his footwork is still horrible. That always really concerned me, was the development of his post footwork. If he was going to stay in the post, which he could dominate most players, but he never really, he would be good on the spin drives if he was 14 feet out. But if you put him 7 or 8 feet out, I've seen Patrick Beverley stop him in the post. So this actually kind of makes Cat feel more comfortable. And what you might see is he'll be a far better help defender coming out of the 4 spot, closing down. So you actually might see his point score drop from 24 per game maybe to 21, 22. But I think you'll see him go from 9.8 to 12 rebounds. I think you'll see Rudy dip from 15 down to 12, but I think you'll see a better defensive presence because they're not going to really ask for that much. Bukhari, get in here before we go to T-Rexy. We're going to also bring up a couple other people. I see Rico Suave is ready and wanting to go. If you're down below and you want to come up, do us the favor shooting the people up on stage a follow, like, and retweet the show card. I want to welcome everybody here to your Wednesday edition of Hoop Spaces. After we close this segment out, I get to introduce to you somebody who has created something that you, the listener, if you like basketball, will actually want to look at and purchase and play. And that's the pickup card game. We'll go to Bukhari, and then we're going to close out with T-Rexy. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. First, I got to shout out Chris, you feel me? And then, obviously, pickup card game. I might actually buy it for real. You just free advertisement at this point, so, I might actually just buy it now.
Yes, sir.
So the Timberwolves, I'm gonna talk about the Timberwolves for just a small talk, a little bit. The Timberwolves, I feel like they had to do this trade because nobody's coming to the Twin Cities. I'm sorry, no free agents coming to that cold ass city. I'm sorry, no one's gonna come to the Timberwolves and play for basketball for them as a free agent. They had to either get really good players from the draft or trade, and they had to make a drastic move. And it was in my opinion, the only move they had to do. Now, 2 centers on a team, Twin Towers type things. I don't know. if this can work, to be honest. But if it does work, and like let's say the Timberwolves are like a top 3 seed in the NBA, they're just like that would be insane. That's just insane. And also, I'm gonna talk about the Lakers now. I don't think they have a. Do they have their first round pick this year? I don't know if they have a first round pick because they traded a lot of first round picks to get AD, but it's pretty tough in the purple and gold for people that rep the purple and gold. It's pretty tough out there. Like, I hope y'all are doing all right. You feel me? I'm checking up on y'all, but like, if y'all don't like get Kyrie, like, what are y'all gonna do this year? To be honest, you got playing team maybe at the best.
I just
playing team maybe because like the West is getting better and better.
The lack
everybody's making moves.
Faith, man. The lack of faith in LeBron James is just astounding.
I'm sorry, but like we already know they're what are they better than the Warriors? Are they better than the Grizzlies? To be honest, come on now.
No,
I'm sorry, the West is just too powerful.
You can ask the question of who else is going to drop, right? Like Phoenix is about to lose Ayton, and it doesn't look like they're going to get a sign and trade. If they lose Ayton, like, are you trusting a Devin Booker, Chris?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So like teams are going to go down, teams are going to go up. What you got, Logan?
Who's more likely to miss more games though, Devin Booker and CP3 or LeBron and AD? And then whose team can like actually withstand that? Like, I think the Kings are more of a threat in the play, or like to make the playoffs than the Lakers.
You know what?
That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
I like that. I'm gonna get that poll up, Logan.
That's disrespectful. That is disrespectful.
I'm gonna get let's see, T-Rexy in here real quick. T-Rexy, you can wax poetically about KD and Kyrie, and you can also give us your Lakers take as well. Go ahead, my man. How you doing?
It's good, man. How y'all doing? I feel like Scoot was right all along with the Kyrie KD staying, but people getting the hell. And people want to listen to Woj and Sham, but not our brothers who work their hard to get the information. So our people, we should respect them more, getting the flower where it's due. Other than that, I knew Kyrie would stay because this is childhood's team. He loved the Nets. He got a kid picture holding Nets basketball when he's a kid. I don't believe Kyrie would lead his childhood team unless he won a championship. Secondly, Maliika was right about the bandwagon fan, but I will add one thing. You want to join the team, and you had no interested to think about the past, no interested about the team history. Yeah, I gotta call you a bandwagon fan. If you have no interested to learn about the team history, you're a bandwagon to me, man. For example, I become a New Orleans Saints fan half my life. Since Drew Brees, Reggie Bush, and Sean Payton was there, because I like to see score high amount of points. But I feel like it's my obligation, if I want to become a Saints fan, to learn about the team history, so I could become a real Saints fan. And I'm still a Saints fan, even though Drew Brees retired, Sean Payton left the team, Reggie Bush left. Think a thing with black and gold. Third. Sorry, Lakers fan. I know y'all ain't getting no Kyrie, man. And I know it was a dream to get Kyrie for cheap, or try to call the Nets to get cheap, but sorry. Y'all not getting Kyrie, unless you guys. I think y'all got Casper next year, maybe y'all can get him. But other than that, nah, not this year. And lastly, I did the KD trade went up the smoke as soon as the Gobert trade, because that's a lot the Timberwolves give up for a guy who scored 10 points per game, who's made over $200 million. And lastly, boy, the Liberty got the ass whipped yesterday. Big Hit was 9 points yesterday. She reminded me of Pop, Coach Pop, when she coached the Ace. They was not playing yesterday. They know they took that L like the game before the All-Star break, and they show up yesterday. That's all I have to say.
But the Liberty came back though, Rexy. I mean, the Liberty did fight, even though we came up short at the
But but it was like too late to me. Yeah. They can't do that.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question? Who do I submit my fandom dissertation to? Because I'm hearing a lot of fan rules right now. People are telling me how to be a fan, so I want to make sure I write it in triplicate. I want to put my stamp of I got to put my blood stamp. I got to pick my finger, put my blood on this fandom application I'm putting in. Who do I submit it to?
Hey, my favorite player is Stephen Curry. But before Stephen Curry, it was Jason Kidd. But Jason Kidd retired. And I'm switching to Stephen Curry. You have to step with nobody.
Oh, no. I'm not speaking directly to you, brother. I'm just hearing rules now. So I never heard these rules before. I want to make sure I'm following them.
I got you. If you go to hoopspaces.com, you're going to see the website that we made in the past. We're starting to change it. And I tell you what, if you will write it, your dissertation, we will post it up there to get the community feedback and reaction for you, KP. Like that's what we are here for. We are here for you.
I'll be writing that dissertation on fandom tonight. I want to make sure you guys don't start backtracking because it's going to be in 2 weeks. I'm going to be
right. I'm standing 2 toes down.
Thank you, Maliika. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, can I say one more thing? One more thing.
Go ahead, T-Rex.
I've been watching the Nets Summer League. I've been paying attention to like the young Nets. I'm gonna say one thing, because I get attacked by the Cam Thomas fanboys. They got to cut it out, man. Like, we got to stop hyping Cam Thomas. Yeah, he scored 28-point games in the Summer League, but in my eyes, I'm not looking at the stats. In my eyes, he haven't improved. He's still
something is up
slow.
with the IQ there. I think the IQ, something's going on with the b-ball IQ. With
he still played the same while watching at the next season. He still starts slow. He still can't find his shot selection. Like David D Jr., he impressed me the most. He gonna get a contract by some other team. If the next kid get him, he gonna find a contract. He had impressed me the most. I remember David D Jr. last season. He had trouble with his shot selection, all that. Yeah, I seen him Summer League. He be doing that all season long. Like, that's an MVP on that team. David D Jr. Kim, he still struggling with 3-pointers. He can't start off strong at the beginning of the game. Like, if you want to be a sixth man, or have good minutes, you gotta start strong at the beginning of the game. That's what I have to say to the Cam Thomas fanboys.
Yeah.
Can I say shout out to Bobby Marks for telling the truth? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah, Cam Thomas fanboys or stands are going to be a problem for the Nets this season. They're already a little bit of a handful. But I'm going to wrap the first hour segment up, ladies and gentlemen. We're 10 minutes over that first hour. It's been dope. Good energy. I want to thank everybody for coming in and making this part of your daily routine. For some of you who do show up daily, we're very appreciative. We want to say thank you. But we ask that for you that do come in here every day, could you please, be with us more? Not in terms of being in the room, but in terms of engagement. Like, I don't want to come off like PBS all the time, because this is essentially what it is. But we have generally about 91 to 140 people in every day, but we tend to get the same 23 to 33 people who will retweet or quote tweet or engage. So really, if you've been in here any amount of time past 2 and you keep coming back, please help us be better, because we can't grow without that engagement. With that engagement comes the likes of sponsorships. And I'm telling you right now that as Spaces has grown, one of the hardest things to do is explain the value of Spaces to a brand, okay? And not like Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks. This is not an anti-Prize Picks thing or Bet US Sports. But let me explain something to you, how this is going to work. Every sponsor and every brand will always err on the side of caution until there's a tipping point, right? Once there's a tipping point, every brand and sponsor will be where the people are. So if you want more access, or if you want a better platform, not for me, but for yourself, and you found something here, then give us some of the energy that we are asking as creators so we can help develop the platform, which is phenomenal what it's doing now. But honestly, it can do so much more. But the issue is engagement. And like, if you are more worried about this making you look or supporting an opinion, you can go through my tweet history and find out the only opinions I have are French fries are overrated, ketchup is trash, and if you eat cake, you really should look at yourself in the mirror and just tell yourself to stop, right? Like, there's nothing here that you aren't going to be proud in supporting, because if there was, you wouldn't be here. That's just the facts. And I can say that because we're independent. And because we're independent, I can do things like this. The person who's going to speak next is a creator, not in the sense of digital content creation, but the creation of a dream into existence. And that is the pickup card game. You can go to slamgoods.com right now, or use your Google machine and Google pickup Slam Goods, and you'll be taken to the website. It's a marketplace created by Slam Magazine. And all they do is help support those types of creators by giving them a platform to sell their merchandise and spread their passion and love of the game of basketball, of which I partake in. Slam is a great profile additive to this brand that's being created. And I say that because the whole goal is to make the pickup card game the brand game for the NBA, and I'm here for that. Chi from the pickup card game @_GameFlow is your Twitter handle. Thank you for the 2 minutes soliloquy. The floor is yours.
Wow, Chris, you deserve an award for that intro, man. You are a gifted man, and thank you so much for always being a supporter of what we do here at GameFlow and also with Pickup Card Game. I got a few takes I have to get off my chest. Number one, KD and Kyrie. I said from day one that KD and Kyrie were just playing mind games with people, trying to really throw off the whole market in terms of free agency, trying to see what teams would offer for KD in a trade and have players be pissed off when their names are in rumors about being shipped off. This is what they do. And so I'm not surprised that we are now coming back to saying that they're going to stay in Brooklyn. Yeah, it's to me, it's all one big mind game. I think they know what they're doing. They're trying to explore and really see what they can get in terms of causing chaos in the NBA. Take number two, on Monday I came on and we kind of talked about the WNBA All-Star game, and I talked about how it was a fail from the league standpoint, but the players were really just kind and hospitable. And the players, to me, made the whole entire experience worthwhile. I have to give a shout out to Candace Parker once again. Candace Parker had a game yesterday. Before she played her game, she came to Nike Nationals, EYBL. So all the top women's basketball players, girls basketball players, ages 17 and under were playing this weekend in Chicago. I mean, a huge, huge event. I'm talking like 75 courts. So many different teams. I mean, really a celebration of women's basketball growing. Candace Parker came and she met with the teams that won the championship before her game last night. Right? She came with her baby in a stroller, walked in real casual, talked to people, was a great ambassador for the game. And then she left and dropped 30 and 10. 30 and 10, becoming the oldest woman to drop 30 and 10 ever in WNBA history. 30 and 10, 3 assists, 3 steals, right? First player with multiple 30, 10, 3 and 3 games. So it's to me, it blows my mind how someone like her can make time and travel. And I called out NBA players for not making time for the All-Star game. And now we're hearing talks about people saying it should be in Las Vegas every single year. LeBron backed that tweet. And I will double down on my point from Monday. If players want to be at the All-Star game, they will make time for the All-Star game. We should not cater to NBA players and NBA players' needs. I want to see Dawn Staley on the sideline, front row at the All-Star game. I want to see LeBron James and Melo and NBA players and rookies courtside. I want to see Dawn Staley, Cheryl Swoops. I want to see Ari Chambers. I want to see the folks who made this game grow get the attention they deserve, and not a bunch of NBA players who think they're entitled to be courtside because they're in Las Vegas for a week, and so therefore they should have courtside seats. So let's stop all that talk about trying to really fit the All-Star game to fit the NBA schedule. That's wrong. And then last thing I have to give real quick is shout out to Coach Smooth, Greg, who's doing a great job. I saw him at EYBL this weekend. So Greg is a coach in Boston. He organizes a program called Sis Run, which began during the pandemic as a way to get girls and women to play pickup basketball. He's doing great things. And thank you, Chris, for connecting us, man. Chris, you're the ultimate connector. Me and Coach are going to do some stuff next month in Boston. He gets the vision. He gets that we're doing some cool stuff here. He loved the game. We played. It's in the Jumbotron. I have a little clip of us playing pickup light, the 2-minute quick game, which is really a great way to play the full game. But shouts to you, Chris, for being a great connector and having folks in this space connect based on mutual interests. And I'm just pumped to support you going forward, man. Thanks so much.
I appreciate that. When you see him in Boston, tell him he owes me a Brighton Women's High School basketball jersey.
I got you.
I'm still waiting. It's been a year. Anyway, no, it goes for the studio. Like I actually have to move my studio. And a couple people are like, "Oh, you need a green screen," because apparently, like being shot on national TV with a beige background is not it. It's like whatever. So I got to do something different. Anyway, Victoria, look, I agree with you. Rudy Gobert is not a closer. Definitely not a closer. They didn't get him to close. They got him to get him to the point where Anthony Edwards can become the closer. That's the path. I think it's pretty evident. I've said it before. Gifted doesn't agree, and that's cool. I think it's already Anthony Edwards' team, and I think that this move allows Cat to be free to do what Cat can do. But come fourth quarter, like this is Anthony Edwards, I'm a get you bucket show, I think is the plan. We're going to go to Rico Suave. He is one of the hosts of 77 Spaces, the Dallas Mavericks' space here for Hoop Spaces, along with Speak On It Rolo and Jazz, a.k.a. Scammer Sultan. Rico, what you got?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. A lot of heat this morning. I love it. This is one thing that makes Hoop Spaces a must join and listen to every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time to about 12:30 p.m. Central Time. So please give Chris a follow, give Chris a like and retweet on the show card because he's doing all of this for free. And, this is 3 hours of content that you probably won't get on ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever the fuck else is out there. Like, Chris allows us to be individualists, and I appreciate that because, like, Maliika, me listening in and listening to people talk about basketball in a way that I haven't had the opportunity until now. It was just a new experience requesting, and I'm kind of like somebody who gets uh, nervous talking in front of other people, but being a part of this community kind of wiped that clean, and now I'm running a really great show with Rolo and Jazz, and I can't wait to keep developing that. But some takeaways and announcement again that I will be sharing. I have a special giveaway opportunity for Mavs fans later on today. I'll be hosting the 77 Spaces later on today to announce that special giveaway. So if you're a Mavs fan and you've been rocking with us and been supporting the community, please join in later. I'll announce the giveaway and we'll go on from there. But Chris, what I wanted to talk about yesterday, we didn't get a chance to, but the play-in tournament and the in-season tournament. What I will say about this is like I enjoy the play-in tournament. Like I love that idea. It's been some very competitive basketball for the last two seasons. What I don't like is like the records. Like if a team is above 500, like let's say 5 6 games above 500, they shouldn't be playing a team that is like let's say 2 games below 500 or maybe even 5 games below 500. I just think that's unfair. But at the same time, I mean, it's competitive basketball. And the in season tournament, the reason why I don't necessarily agree with it is just like I understand it's a business move. You're trying to get some revenue, some extra revenue. You're trying to gauge fan interest for the entire NBA season. But like I don't really see guys like LeBron, Kawhi, Luca, Giannis, Embiid like playing in these in-season tournaments. Now, if you gonna try to gauge fan interest in it, you're probably gonna have to settle for like Detroit and Hornets. And even though Detroit has a lot of like interesting pieces and a lot of like fun basketball that's probably going to be happening later on this year, I'm not sure you could just sell people on the idea of like, hey, we'll get these teams to play against each other. Y'all watch and y'all enjoy. I just don't see it, but hey, they might prove me wrong if they are able to implement this. What about you, Chris? What's your thoughts on play-in and the in-season tournament?
Well, the honest answer is that was for tomorrow.
My bad, did Chris.
Two reasons, right? The main reason is like we've entered the abyss. Like I've been saying this for the last week. We all had the finals, we had the draft, and we get this super shot of adrenaline called free agency, and it hits us in the face like 4 caffeine pills with like a double espresso, right? But like after that 8th and 9th day, it's over. It's over, right? Like this is an anomaly because the entire free agent market was hijacked by like 4 individual players. That rarely happens unless these max level players all reach unrestricted free agency. So like there's that. Two, the play-in tournament I get. I need to read. I need to read more and hear more about the in-season tournament, and they really haven't. They haven't really given me enough information for what I like. So I have to sit here and say, well, maybe they're doing it like FIBA. Maybe they're basically testing this out with the Commissioner's Cup and the W. What would it look like? How does this augment the actual scheduling process? Because in my mind, if I'm the players, I don't want to necessarily stop from an 82 game schedule to enter in a cup tournament. I want to know how, out of the 82 games we already have, are we going to be able to do it? How are we going to get time off where it doesn't affect the overall scheduling, et cetera, et cetera? Lots of stuff really to get into with that. And yes, same. Coleslaw is safe.
Coleslaw is trash, Chris. But
See, I was like enjoying this
Yeah,
conversation.
I'm gonna come in here and say coleslaw is actually pretty good, Chris. I've had some as of late, and this is not me trying to, as the kids will say, I won't say what I'm gonna say, but this is not me trying to get on Chris's good side, but you have the right coleslaw, you will see Chris's point. That's all I gotta say. You have the right
all
coleslaw, you see.
my last take is they are eliminating the take foul, which I love. I just need them to work on that touch on the rim. I want to see that go into like FIBA rules as well. Like let players get the damn ball. Like that's the last thing I'll say. Everybody have a good one. See y'all later on 77 Spaces.
All right, make sure you shoot a follow and check in. It's great, like to have the voice of another fan base talk, and you don't have to listen to the same echo chamber. Because like if you're a Nets fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to give some shout outs down below. Shout out to Voluptuous. Great name change this time. Really good name change. Like it's not too long. I can actually say it on a recorded space that will be on YouTube, powered by audiolabs.io. Shout out to Nightingale, Young Harriet, Shako, Destiny, Santa Rosa. What's up, New York Jaws? Good to see you. All right, but we move on to another person who has yet to speak, and that is Blue. Blue, appreciate you finding us. Thank you for shooting us a follow. The floor is yours.
Appreciate it, man. I want to let y'all know, first things first, my primary objective in all Twitter spaces is to spread this Pelicans propaganda. All right. The Cinderella story that followed. Go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna have to get used to it on the show. You were doing good. Don't stop.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna have to get used to this Pelicans propaganda because we talked about bandwagon fans earlier. I'm an ex-Mavericks fan. Shout out to Rico Suave, who's just up here, 77 Spaces. I was a Mavericks fan my entire life. I'm from the city of Dallas, Texas. And I could not spend another 20 years following behind a European superstar in a league full of niggas. So that's just my personal opinion. And for that reason, I became a Pelicans fan in like 2017. I've been following them ever since. 3 coaching changes in the last 3 years. And what they've been able to accomplish despite all of the uncertainty in the front office, despite all the noise from the mainstream media who devalue small market teams in preference for their vacation destinations and their summer destinations, the Pelicans have not only impressed, but continue to raise the ceiling of expectations, taking the number 1 seed, the winningest team in the NBA, to 6 games. It's an incredible feat for any team, let alone the recipient of that play-in, that special play-in privilege that allowed them to compete in the playoffs, beat 2 teams in a single game elimination to face and take the number 1 seed to 6 games. So, I mean, that's incredibly impressive on all fronts. You look at the addition of Willie Green as not only an X's and O's guy, but a cultural leader, somebody who's going to be, a model citizen, model basketball player, model basketball mind on the court in that locker room. And then you've got the elevation of Brandon Ingram, who has continued to improve his game to all-star levels. He got snubbed by the all-star game this year in preference for, Wiggs from Golden State. But in reality, Brandon Ingram is a superior choice. He's a superstar talent. He willed his team not only from a 3-16 start to playoff contention, to play in contention, but also averaged about 32 points in the playoff series that they played in. So we're really watching the growth, the maturation, and the emergence of Brandon Ingram as a superstar in this small market. You couple that with the veteran presence of C.J. McCollum, his ability to be a general on the floor and also be a cultural leader in that locker room, instilling, hard work, dedication to the game, and patience in this process. And then on top of that, you got the generational talent of Zion Williamson, who has proven, most doubters wrong in that, we assume he'd be coming in looking like a, public school bus driver, for the summer. And, he's, properly rehabbing that foot, not letting the outside noise force him into an early return, and like really getting, his conditioning and his health and his foot strength back together so that second jump looks just as good, if not better than it did, his first 2 years in the league. So I'm really excited to see what the
As you get cut off, you didn't even mention Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy, or
Kyrie.
Herb Jones.
We getting there. Give me a second. I'm getting there. But I'm glad to see the West being offloaded, because what that's going to do is that's going to allow the Jazz to stop eating up higher seeds in the regular season just to do nothing in the playoffs. Now, it goes without saying, obviously, right? But I'm talking about the top 3. But of course, Trey Murphy III has an incredible ceiling, a ceiling you can't even see yet. He's showing out in the summer league, doesn't really have to, has proven himself as a clutch and critical element to the chemistry of this team throughout the regular season. But even in showing up to the summer league and playing as effectively as he has in the summer league, it's showing a level of maturity. It's showing somebody who's ready to carry the mantle of the young guys, the second unit on this team. And I'm super excited to see not only what Trey Murphy can continue to do as this freak athlete who can shoot the lights out of the gym, who's still growing. Apparently he's 6'11" now, who's gaining more strength, bulking up, and can really put the ball in the hoop anywhere on the floor. You've got Trey Murphy, you've got Najee Marshall, you've got Jose Grand Theft Alvarado, you've got a core of young guys, Jackson Hayes, who I love, Devontae Graham, who can be a great role player, a great point guard coming off the bench if he becomes more consistent. And then you've got the future and Dyson Daniels, G League Ignite alum from the down under, and Easy Liddell, who unfortunately we just saw take a huge injury. That's a huge loss to the Pelicans with that hamstring injury in the summer league. And I'm hoping that they go ahead and pay this man, give him his money, so we can continue to invest in him and build that young core. But like I said, I'm here to spread that Pelicans propaganda, man. We were 3-0 against the Lakers last year. You can call it injury. You can call it, whatever the case is. You can call it whatever intangibles are there. We're 3-0 against the Lakers last year. We have nothing to prove against anybody in the league. And now that we've added a generational talent, now that we've had the patience to see his health, to see his recovery, his rehab all the way through, I expect nothing less than, advancing beyond the first round in this year's playoffs. So I love what's happening right now as far as the league being shaken up. I think Cat is running from playing the 5, being a big man. I think he has been running from that for a long time, and now that he has Rudy Gobert to pick up his slack, he don't necessarily have to pretend to have bass in his voice anymore. He can run around, the arc. He can run around the mid range, and try to wear people out that way. But yeah, he's been running from that big man grind for a long time. So I'm glad to see that the Jazz offloaded Rudy Gobert, and now he's in a play-in contention team. And that we might not see the Jazz, a first seed through fourth seed, at least for a couple more years now, just for them to not do nothing with it if they're able to offload Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, that was great. One word of advice, though. Got to be careful with the recorded spaces because they're oftentimes repurposed. Try not to drop the N word.
Oh, that's my bad. Yeah, I feel you.
All
But,
right.
Dallas, Texas, baby. Pelicans all the way.
Yeah, I'm not hating. You did, but now you know. That was a great take, though, by the way, for Pelicans. That was really good. We actually have a couple of people with Pelicans ties. Got Optimistic Pels fan and Chris, who runs the NOLA Spaces. They do a great job, so make sure you take a look out for them and hop into some of the Pelican spaces that we'll have going on next season. I'm saddened, though, that you are no longer a Mavs fan, and I say that because I just want as many Mavs fans as possible, because to me, the discourse of negativity that is probably impending in the world of Dallas Mavericks fandom is what drives happiness here. And that's just saying, I'm a fan of the Sixers, so I want all of y'all to be miserable. I only want my team to not be miserable. That's what fandom is supposed to be. At least that's how I grew up. That's just me. Shout outs down below to a few people who have popped in here. I want to say hi to Darling Nikki, Kent, Just a Clam in the Mud Flaps of Portland, Shrick, Scotty. Thank you for coming in, guys. Also, if you missed him earlier, Zach Ramey of the Off the Glass podcast is in here. Up in the Jumbotron, there is a link to his latest episode. Phenomenal. I'm actually going to finish it when I head out to pick up my son from swimming, where he goes into KD and Kyrie. I want to give a shout out to the Mavs and Magic draft. If you are either a fan of the Mavs or Magic, or you want an objective opinion on essentially what is now a year-long profession, and which is evaluating talent for next year's draft, shoot him a follow. And big ups to Nate Jones, co-founder of Move-In Insoles. These are insoles designed for sports and athletic people, and also people like myself who used to be athletic and due to injuries from military service, I have arthritis, and it's really hard for me to do some of the things that I used to do. He had, out of his kindness of his heart, just said here. And let me tell you, the soles that he had provided me, they're phenomenal. I do not take them out of my cross trainers at all, except to clean them to make sure that they ain't getting funky. But those things they've allowed me to go from essentially 2 miles a day with moderate pain to 2 miles with no pain. So make sure you check out Move Insoles. Just use your Google machine. All right, there's your reset. We're talking KD, Kyrie staying if you have your take. Lakers being behind the T-Wolves, and I want to shout out Blue here because he has created the second poll of the day. Who has the better season next year, ladies and gentlemen? Pelicans or Lakers? We will start off this segment with Dany D. Then we'll go to Saint and then Maliika. We'll introduce Jordan. We'll go back to CJ and we'll talk about Who Run the City, host of the Knicks Niche here on Spaces. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Saint, go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to Dany D first.
Sorry, Dany D. My fault. I just jumped ahead of myself.
Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great day. I just want to say that WNBA All-Star Game had great ratings. They had 768,000 viewers. It did dip a little after a while, but it still stayed over 700,000 fans. DT is a dirty witch. You don't kick the goat, Sylvia Fowles. Asia Wilson last night had her 12th double-double last night. She's the only one that has 12. Everybody else is behind her right now. That was like MVP numbers to me. And if you see my avatar face, that's the horrendous, blasphemous atrocity supposed to be CP3. Okay, it is what it is, I guess. I don't understand it.
Dany, I will say for sure, Slam dropped the ball on that one. It looks
It's
bad.
gross. It's gross.
I will completely. I know.
That is not Candace Parker. I don't know who that is.
I thought that was my cousin Tracy Detroit. I said, Tracy, oh girl, how'd she get a ball back? I love you. I still love you. I'm being nice here. There you go. I'm being professional, as Chris would like me to be. In regards to your question, KD and Kyrie, they going to stay in Brooklyn. Ain't nowhere to go. I just can't see you trading Westbrook. Like I said, you're going to need a third or fourth team to have that happen for him to get to LA. The only time you're going to get to LA is during off season. Who talking about the Kings?
I got to interrupt you because he had his chance. Like, he had his chance to get to LA, he didn't go in for a buyout, opt out. He came back. Like, he had his chance. He did not avail himself of said chance. Am I right, Saint?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, continue, Dany.
Yeah, he did. He had his chance. I thought he was going to not sign him. But when he did, I don't know if he thought the market would fight over him. But, I mean, hey, when you don't want to play, when it's convenient for you, I wish I could do that. I have to fight to prove that I need time off, on my end. But no, he just got to say, oh, it's hot. Oh, no, the sequoias are burning. I can't play. I don't know. It's just, and the sequoias, they are trying to protect them up there at the park. But, it's just too much. It's just too much. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Oh, Lord. French fries rock, Chris, especially if you cook them hard and well done. I get fries for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Sometimes I have eaten them for dinner because that's just the mood I'm in. I'll just go get some hot fries from McDonald's and a strawberry milkshake. Hello.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, that's the stuff.
Hey, you know what? If mid is your thing, more power to you.
Hey, in the words of KB, your food takes are mid, sir. There we go. They garbage. Okay.
My food. Oh, like there is nothing mid about my food takes at all.
And cake is a beautiful thing. I love cake.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's very pretty. It's very.
I love it. I eat cake all the time if I can. That's
You
what I
know,
am.
no, Danny, somebody said on this show, not me, not I. I did not say this. Somebody who's really funny said this. He's a comedian and he's a writer for a TV show. Said, "Hey, there are a few players in the league that are cake." Just
Mm.
just saying. He also, like me, does not like cake, but that's just me.
I
I went.
don't know who hurt you. I'm still trying to figure out
No,
who
no,
hurt you.
nobody,
I will go
nobody
beat
hurt
him
me.
up for you.
No one hurt me. Like
I'm gonna
when I
blame
was
the
in,
military. I'm blaming the military
no,
right now.
no,
Yeah.
nobody hurt me. Like as a kid, when I had a party, they're like, "What type of cake do you want?" I'm like, "Do we have to have cake?"
It
She
was
said,
dry,
"Yes."
wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. She said yes, so I said, "Fine, make a carrot cake without raisins."
Oh no! See that's
Oh yeah,
the problem. That's
yeah.
the problem.
I
Carrot
did that to troll everybody. I was an 8-year-old trolling everybody.
cake.
Love it. Uh,
Now
Saint, hop in here.
I'm gonna stop right now. I just can't. I'm trying to be nice here today. I'm trying to turn a
Um,
new leaf, Lord. Help
All
us
right.
to
Well, actually, you know what? Before you answer, Saint, Danny did bring up something in context, and I want to ask you before you go, Danny, and then Saint can also answer. Is it that Kyrie Irving just didn't do it the way you wanted it to be done?
You know what? Because he just he he flows by his own. He's a drummer that how can I say? He's just like a leaf in the wind. He just goes the way it goes. I didn't expect anything less. I was like, ain't no market for you, Playboy. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants that headache. It's that it's that bum on the street that everybody knows a bum. And no matter how much you try to help them, they always do bummy mess. No matter you get them straightened up, get them pretty clothes, and they still mess up. It's not the way he did it. I knew it was going to fail. He doesn't love basketball. I think it's a job to him. I really do. I don't think he does it because it provides for him and his family. Um, it's he can't. There's not a balance between the love and understand that it's work. And I think that's where his head at. If he doesn't want to play anymore, just get out. You're taking up the seat for somebody else. That's all. I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, no, it did. It's an opinion question. That's your opinion. I don't agree, but I think it's a valid opinion. Saint, I don't think you agree either. I think you're more like me that most people just don't like the way he's doing what he's doing versus the aloofness.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna address food, Pelicans, Lakers, and then the KD Kyrie, but think I'll go in reverse. I mean, yeah, listen, I think Kyrie absolutely loves basketball, right? I just think you've seen a man that's gotten to a point in his life where other things have become just as important as basketball, and people they don't want him. I'm not saying it's a shut up and dribble type thing, but they just want him to be all about basketball. They don't want him to be this other person. But if you're a grown up, you've seen multiple times in your life where certain things become priorities here and there, and I don't necessarily fault him for that, right? Like, yeah, does his decisions affect the team that I love? Yeah. Do on a personal level, I got annoyed with it to some degree? Yeah. But if I step back and look at it, like, that's just me being like kind of childish about my favorite toy. You know what I mean? Like, um, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I look at this contract thing and I was not surprised it went this way. Like, I was very like aware that like when they sat down that it was going to be a back and forth thing, and that you were highly likely going to get to a point where somebody in that sit down was not comfortable what the other side was proposing. So I'm not even surprised that we're at this point. I actually was very happy that he accepted the last year and said, "I'll see you in October," meaning he wants to play in Brooklyn, right? So for me, that did a lot of good things for the team. It let the team watch a guy come out, prove it, quote, that he's going to be there all the time and play. And it also gave Kyrie an opportunity to sit back and get out of the drama and prove I don't even know that he's got to prove to himself, but I just think it really knocks out a lot of the drama. Unfortunately, the unforeseen side of that was KD. However, yesterday's news with Brian Lewis coming out, like basically backing up something that Scoop's been saying, even Shams reported something similar, and people are all up in arms. It's like the language has always been there. Like, guys never requested a trade. He was offered the ability to go seek by the Nets, but never like wanted out. Now, does that change that the Nets might move him still? No, but it's refreshing to hear, from more than one source now that like Kyrie doesn't want to leave. He wants to be a Brooklyn Net. Depending on what side of you are on, that's a good thing. Like, I'm happy. Now the question becomes with KD. And I do know that there is language out there that is something that they are trying to talk about right now. I always felt like the door has been left open by Sean Marks and Woj and that language. So to me, this is a good thing. I know somebody, Brandon down there is laughing. Brandon actually wants to trade.
How do you do?
Dude, he's literally been trying to trade KD or Kyrie for Hero for like, he thinks there's no point in running it back. I disagree, but
a lot of us disagree.
That is killer.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all said it. And Chris, I know you've said it, right? Like, there's no other place better for KD and Kyrie than being in Brooklyn, quite honestly.
Yeah, okay. So, like, to that, right? I had said this, and I've continued to say this. There's only one team that's had a static offer that can improve. Every other team has said no to what the Nets want as a static offer. The Nets aren't wanting to trade KD to Philly. But, like, I said this at the whole beginning of this ordeal. No team is going to beat Philadelphia in a trade for Kevin Durant because no team is in the position that Philadelphia is in with two stars. And then they could say we can give up on our young player, Tyrese Maxey, who's, the lead player in this, give up near equal value in terms of contract and production when you add Tobias Harris and, two other players. That doesn't equal KD. It never will equal KD. But that's it. And when you look at it in that field, the only place they can succeed other than that is Brooklyn. There's no other avenue of success.
Well, I mean, I think you and I'm just saying this, so I understand they're not going to, but if the Raptors and the Pelicans were willing to play ball, yeah, you could throw them in the conversation, but we already know where that's at. Like, they're not willing to go there. They're not going to destroy what they've been building. But you're right. There really is not many situations. And then once you go outside of like a one team trade deal, then it gets ugly. And then depending on what you're bringing back, you get into this rookie max contract situation with Ben Simmons. Like, it becomes worse and worse and worse to try to make something happen. And the whole issue that I've had with all this noise is that you've had a lot of noise out there, but you've never really had any concrete responses from individuals within the organization or even the players, right? Like, they've just made, and it's left a lot of room.
That last week.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, I'm all for it. I know some people are sick of it and they want to move on and they're screwed. They don't care if we have a crap team, but I'm all for trying to make this work.
Yeah, I am too. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you.
So
that's somebody that's new on stage. Let me go ahead and get him in.
Andrew, I'm sorry. It's
all good, man. Welcome, Andrew. Let me give you a point. United States Army 101st Airborne. That is not a unit I was in. I was in 2-4 Infantry.
Okay.
I want to give you your props and say thank you for your service and thank you for finding us here on Hoop Spaces.
You too, sir. You too.
Hop on in. I hear you must be a Nets fan. Hop on in. I know you want to.
I've been in Nets fan since '67, dog. I'm 64 going on 65. So I've seen a whole bunch of this.
All right,
but the thing is, the Rudy Gobert trade was a blessing because there's no way in hell nobody has what the Nets would want for Kevin Durant by trading him. Nobody. Other than, like you said, maybe Toronto and the Pelicans, and they're not going to do it. And if I was them, I really wouldn't do it either, because look at who you have to give up to get him, and then it's going to lessen that team. So, yeah, I understand it. And I'm like this. I hope this is over with, because I said last week, I don't think they're going anywhere. But all the rhetoric that's out there and whatnot, and I don't believe half of that crap, because I didn't hear anything from them out of their mouths until I hear that or see them say something. I don't believe nothing. And I listen, I have trust issues. I ain't even gonna lie. I've been a cop for 26 years. We tied with that too. So there isn't a lot that you can put over on a brother and be like, I'm just gonna tell you this and you're gonna fall for it. That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree from the outside as a Sixers fan. Like, and I've said this too. Like, I haven't heard anything from KD's side that is definitive. If you've listened to his side and understand, like, there's a side, there's nothing definitive coming out. And if there's nothing definitive coming out, then how's the spin coming out that KD is like demanding a trade? Right? Like, I never really heard that from that side. Like, I heard there could be a request for a trade if things aren't met, right? And if they gave Kyrie the ability to search something out, like, they were gonna have to do the same for KD. Like, that's just common sense, right?
Yeah.
I want to get Brandon in here, and he can respond, and we'll go back to Saint. We'll bring in Maliika, and we'll also add in Jordan and Who Runs This, because we got some Knicks stuff to talk about. Also, I wanted to say shout out to EJ Liddell. Tough break, ladies and gentlemen. A tear in the ACL, a second-round draft pick. This is why I personally hope that in the upcoming CBA negotiations that they make second-round draft picks guaranteed, or at least partially guaranteed with full medical coverage and insurance for events like these. Want to make sure that he has the time and resources to heal up and get his shot that he wants to chase his dream. Brandon, hop in here, man.
Well, I think Saint's on drugs a little bit, but no surprise there.
This is a Nets fan talking real quick, Chris, just so we know.
But yeah, he wants to see it running back. But again, I piggyback on what you say. We haven't really heard from Kevin Durant for almost 2 weeks now since he leaked to, I think it was Shams, about the trade request. It would be nice to hear from what he actually wants out of all this. We heard Kai, his camp's been leaking stuff to the media all the time. So we kind of get a grasp where Kyrie's head's at. He wants to remain in net. He wants to stay there regardless of what happens with KD. So we know where he's at, but it'll just be nice to hear definitively, either through Shams or somebody through the media, where Kevin Durant's head's at right now, and what exactly he wants. Because I don't agree with the notion of quote unquote run it back. I never really agree with that, especially when you have a disgruntled star. When you bring a disgruntled star to camp, it never really works out. We have multiple incidences over the course of the past 10 years where it has just not worked out. Too much distractions. If things go south, that team can be ripped to shreds. So I'm not really willing to go down that circus. I just think if it would be nice to know where Kevin Durant's head's out. If he still really wants out, I think the Nets really need to work extremely hard on avoiding that circus coming before training camp.
But Brandon, can I ask you a question? Like, and me and Brandon, we love each other, even though we literally argue every day. I understand your perspective of this, right? From that level about the drama aspect. But like, ultimately, do you want Kevin Durant and Kyrie to play for your team? Or are you done with them?
No, I want people who want to remain with the organization. If Kevin Durant does not want to be a Net, I don't want him on this team, because it's going to be it is not going to be pleasant to have him around. Because you run into two things, Saint. One, a superstar that wants to be traded, he can sit out because of the risk of injury. Again, he's 34 years old. He's injury prone. Why would he want to play and risk injury?
Well, okay, listen, I don't I'm actually with you on the idea if somebody doesn't want to be here, but you're saying on the other hand, it'd be great to hear. So if you hear from Kevin Durant and he backs off, and I can't remember who put it out there, but they said to the extent that when that trade request was put out, emotions were high, things are different, but now we're at a different time where things have calmed down. You have now the language of Kyrie being pretty adamant of I want to be in Brooklyn regardless, right? And say that Kevin Durant backs off, maybe they make some other changes, maybe they bring back Coach Harrington, who knows, right? Maybe there's some things he looks at it differently, and he's yeah, no, I'm gonna stay with my dude Kai, I'm gonna stay here in Brooklyn, it comes at are you okay then at that point? Are you still on the ramp of nah, there's gonna be drama, just move them both?
Because if Kevin Durant does decide that, because if they bring back Kyrie Irving, again, it's the same thing for me. I don't want to be on the quote unquote run it back for 1 year, because what is that? The Nets have not even proven they
so
can
you don't
win.
Want him back then, basically?
No, I'm just saying if they want to bring back Kyrie Irving, give him the extension. I don't want it for a 1 year thing.
Answer to that question too.
And the Nets have not proven they can win without James Harden. That's just a fact. They're a 500 ball club without James Harden.
Yeah, but you've also been operating with.
And what did we win with James Harden? We didn't get no chip. You acting like we went somewhere with James
I'm not
Harden.
saying we went anywhere. I'm just saying at least we got a playoff series win with James Harden. What did we get without him?
Maliika, can you answer Saint's question?
Yeah, because it still hasn't been answered.
What was your question, Saint?
Do you want both of these individuals to come back? Outside of the noise, and I understand Brandon's side of it.
Everyone is convinced, yes.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
If they're going to give Kyrie Irving an extension and to max Kevin Durant with the original thing Kyrie Irving wanted, then yes, bring everyone back.
But what's wrong with them? What's wrong with Kyrie having a prove-it type year?
Type year, because if things go south, he walks for free to the Lakers next year.
I understand that.
That's fan. I want to get Maliika in, guys. Maliika, hop in with your thoughts. We also have Jordan up here, and we got Who Runs Ish up here, and we got some Lonzo Ball and Chris Middleton news in the next question that we'll get Nets fans answers to as well. Maliika, go ahead. Your thoughts.
I want them back, but I see where Brandon is coming from, though. You want some type of commitment, like an extension. I also see it from the organization's perspective of wanting some type of protection on an extension, like if that's what's going on. But I wouldn't mind. I would love for Kyrie to get an extension to show the commitment. But every year, I feel like there's been something with Kyrie that, where, last year I supported him with the vaccine mandate. I still stand by that. But what happened the previous year with the insurrection, and he disappeared for that? And I love Kyrie, but I mean, it would be great if he got an extension to match KD's. I want KD back, but we don't hear anything from him. He's tweeting subliminals and shit, but what does that mean? What are you trying to say? Is this aggravating? And I'm tired of it. So I basically put KD and Kyrie in my muted words. When you have KD and Kyrie in your title, I don't see it. I actually have to go to your page, Chris, and click on the link, because I just want to avoid my timeline being corroded with Nets fans talking about KD and everybody else talking about KD and Kyrie. What is the final decision? What are we doing? When we get that, and when we know what the full team's going to be, then I will, adapt. But I'm tired of it already. The drama. I just want who my team's going to be, and I want KD and Kyrie on the team. But I don't see Kyrie. I don't see KD being like James Harden, showing up in camp and just being a complete ass. I don't see that happening. But if Kyrie, I think part of me feels like KD did that for leverage, like everybody else said, for Kyrie. We'll see what happens with camp. I don't see KD being a disruption, but let's play it. I want to see them on the court this year. I want to see them beyond this year. I want to see a commitment. but get them on the court next year. I want to see these big three on the court with Joe Harris, and and we need some type of bench next year. That's what I want to see. That's what I want.
I'm still trying to.
Chris,
it was a flex to help Kyrie. It doesn't make sense for him to do it to help Kyrie. But go ahead. What you got, Andrew?
Chris,
That's
let me
what
ask you a
everybody
question.
else is saying, Chris. I don't know.
Are you a 76er fan, Chris? Because I want to ask you a question.
Yes, I am.
No, he's a Kings fan.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because I haven't heard a damn word about this. Now, this is how shit is different in certain sports. Kyrie couldn't play in Toronto and New York because of the vaccination and all this and that shit. But what about the goddamn Philadelphia, the baseball team right now that has players back? They're in Toronto, and they're not in Toronto, but you don't hear shit about it. And they got stars that's not playing in this whatchamacallit right now with Toronto. Why is that? But if it was Kyrie, this should be on front page, back page, middle page.
The issue, and I had asked this earlier to Dany D. The issue is there are people who just don't like how he does it.
Yeah.
Because like
there are
how
people that just don't like Kyrie. Yeah.
Well, it starts with they don't like how he does it. That creates this image that people buy into subconsciously that not like Kyrie, and then because he is never going to change. Like he was like this in high school, so like this is who he is, which by the way is 100% dope to be able to be that authentic at all times, right?
Right.
But you get the people who don't like it, and they have a platform of visibility, and so they're able to say things, and they get away with it because we've crossed the line between journalism and entertainment, right?
True.
And it becomes sensationalism. That's the foxification of sports talk. Undisputed, First Take. Like it thrives on emotional turmoil and debate. Like it's designed to be probative to you, and
in other words, to keep shit stirring.
Exactly. So when you have somebody who's being their 100% authentic self, you get these types of stories. Now, I'm not saying Kyrie Irving is the equivalent to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but if you go back in history and look at what people said about Kareem, because he was, quote, outspoken, like it's the same style of treatment because people didn't like the way Kareem went about doing it, right?
Oh, well, Muhammad Ali was the same way.
Exactly. So
he was the same way. That's why everybody jumped on Joe Frazier back, loving him and hating Ali, which was crazy as hell. But yeah, I got you.
May not. I'm sorry, Chris.
What?
No, I was going to say, like, you may not agree with Kyrie's messaging and the things that he speaks about or stands firm on or the reasons he takes. Like, I get it, right? Like, but that's how he views himself, to your point, where he operates on that level. And it just, in today's day and age, I think part of it too is people look back then and look at the reasons why these individuals did what they did, and there was massive reason, right? Like you look at Muhammad Ali, you look at Kareem, like they're during a time where they are just speaking on just undeniable truth. And then today you look at Kyrie and people look at it as like a lifestyle choice or like why are you whining type thing. Like I think people just look at him completely different in that respect. And even though some of the things that he is talking about do have truth in them, it's just most people today don't like. It's a little different than that. You get where I'm saying with that? Like,
yeah. But that's his truth. That's his truth, though.
Exactly.
I gotta hop in here because I don't know how much time our friend Michael Scotto has. I'm gonna get you, Jordan. I'm gonna get you, Nick. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you. But sometimes you gotta hop in when you have the chance because I'm expecting his phone to blow up. If you go online to hoopshype.com right now, you can actually click on his latest writings, and we'll put the link up here as well. NBA rumors, Kevin Durant, Kyrie trade talks, and DeAndre Ayton free agency. That is our friend Michael Scotto. Mike, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, early afternoon to you, my man. Hope everything's going well. I was just, scrolling through Twitter a little bit, going through text and stuff. I saw you had spaces going on, getting ready to have an early lunch here. I figured I'd just hop in. Certainly you were talking about some of the stuff I had been writing on lately. So always love those topics, man. How's everything going your way?
It's going good, man. Like as we enter like the void of the back end of summer, after summer league goes away, it's going to be slim pickings. I'm kind of thankful that we have the ever bearing fruit tree that is Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in the Brooklyn Nets, and Russell Westbrook in the Lakers, because I think that that's what's going to drive us for the next 6 weeks. So, with that, I want to ask about DeAndre Ayton, man. What are you hearing?
I mean, it's interesting because a lot of teams, I mean, I won't even actually say teams, scratch that. I would say a lot of stuff had been out there about, well, the Pacers could come at him, with an offer sheet and stuff. And it just seems like the longer that this goes on, that you're wondering if or when it's coming. And I think, in talking with other executives in Vegas, that the vibe that they had all gotten was that, the Pacers and the Spurs are trying to use their cap space in case the Nets do make a trade with Kevin Durant or with Kyrie Irving, and use it as a potential 3-team type of scenario, or 4, whatever it may be. But essentially, they're trying to use that cap space to take in a contract for draft pick compensation. And, both those teams are looking more towards the future at this point. Now, with that said, I mean, Ayton is a young center, so I understand the connection to Indiana. And I had written, a lot of people, are making this connection for a couple of reasons. And one of them, so Ayton and Miles Turner are both represented by Bill Duffy at BDA Sports. Certainly Miles Turner's name has come up in more rumors than, I don't know, a kid in like high school or something in the hallway. And I think that, the other scenario that's kind of interesting there is Ayton's also co-repped by Neiman Amakian, and he represents Benedict Mathurin, who was Indiana's 6th pick. So there's a lot of like dot connecting going on there. But ultimately, from what I've heard from rival execs, is that their sense, and obviously they're talking to like Indiana and San Antonio, is that they're trying to use that space to get draft pick compensation if the Nets make a move. Now, certainly there's no guarantee that the Nets end up making a move in terms of trading Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving at this point. And, thus far, and I had touched on it a little bit, the Toronto Raptors, they're hesitant to put Scotty Barnes in a trade for Kevin Durant. They don't want to do that. OG Anunoby's a guy that they rejected the 7th overall pick for. They certainly value him highly. I'm not sure if it was for Kevin Durant. I'm not sure if OG is on the table, but speaking to how highly that they think of him, it's just interesting to me that a lot of these teams, I don't want to give up these guys for Kevin Durant. Like I had written too about the Warriors. Like they don't want to break up their young core of all those guys they have with Poole, Wiseman, Moody, and I'm forgetting one other off the top of my head. But
Kuminga.
Thank you. They don't want to put all of those assets, ideally, in one type of trade for Durant. And it's just like kind of fascinating to me, brother, because you're talking about a guy in Kevin Durant that is at worst, and I'm saying this generously, a top 15 player all time, and a guy that right now, today, you easily make the argument top 3 in the NBA. So to me, it's just fascinating. I know some people want to throw out the age. Well, he's 34, but my thing is he's come back from his injury, played at an elite level, and you have him under control. This is why the Nets are very much in the driver's seat with leverage here. He's got 4 years on his contract. He has no player option. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't believe he has a trade kicker. So the Nets are really in the driver's seat here. He's wanted to play with Kyrie. Kyrie is still under contract for next year, even though there's some, I'd use the phrase ruffled feathers, between Kyrie and the Nets because they didn't get a long-term extension done. But Chris, I've always said this, like for the two of them, their best chance, I think, to win would be to stay with Brooklyn next year because you got Ben Simmons coming back. He looks good. I've heard good things about his progress returning from injury. Joe Harris as well, who's coming back. I just think that, if they end up running it back, they would be a competitive team in the East. Like, these underwhelming trade scenarios for Kevin Durant thus far are surprising to me, and also doesn't make sense for the Nets to pull the trigger. They have no reason to be in a rush whatsoever.
I agree 100%. Like, and that's why you've heard me say, like, the only team that has made a static offer that can get better is the Sixers, and they don't like that offer, and nobody else is trying to put in the players that the Nets want. So they seem destined to play again with each other next season. Taking the big names out of it, I want to make sure that people hop in and go to hoopshype.com so they can read this piece. So I want to move away from that. Lonzo Ball might not start training camp. Chris Middleton looks like he just had surgery in July. What else are you hearing that might be kind of a surprise that fans might want to be on the lookout for as we get more information coming out about players who might be coming back from injury or might be a little bit prolonged?
To be honest, I've been focused more on like trade talks and stuff. Like, injury wise, I don't get as much focused into that as much as till we get like towards training camp. Like, obviously a lot of Donovan Mitchell talk is going to dominate right now. Certainly the New York Knicks are expected to be one of the front runners to try to go after him. You talk to any executive around the league, it's no secret that they've had an eye for him. There's plenty of CAA connections there. And, look, they've wanted to bring in a guy that's a star caliber player, an all-star guy. Is Donovan Mitchell good enough to be the face of a franchise that takes them to a conference finals? I don't know that. Certainly in Utah, it seems like that it peaked ultimately with him and Gobert. They took that team as far as they could. I think it's going to be interesting to see what would be going down as far as Utah, if they're going to totally like strip this thing down, because if you end up moving Donovan Mitchell, then certainly, Jordan Clarkson, Conley, and Bojan Bogdanovic, those guys, then it's just going to be like a bunch of dominoes. I think that's something. I know it's not an injury like you asked me about, Chris, but in terms of like, I think something that's maybe underlooked right now would be if Mitchell gets moved, then the other dominoes at that point, you got other guys that could really help a team elsewhere with those guys I mentioned, like Clarkson, Conley, and Bogdanovic, because at that point there's no real point for Utah to keep them. You might as well, if you're going to tank, you might as well be like Red October and sink the submarine. You know what I'm saying?
I love that reference. Point to Michael Scotto for bringing in one of my favorite movies of all time and one of the best books I'd ever read as a kid, The Hunt for Red October. Want to give some shout outs down below. Shout out to a man with no name, one half of the Dunk Tales podcast, one of the best podcasts that you can listen to. Go find it where your podcast pod, everywhere they pod. And check out the sponsors and write them down, because this is some of the best sponsorship material you will ever hear. Also down below, we see Jillian is in the building. Shout out to Jillian. Good words over at Ethos Kings, covering the Sac Kings. The Off the Glass podcast is back in the building. If you don't know, check it out. Dropping every Monday. And we'll come back up here up top. If anybody has a question, that Donovan Mitchell is fascinating, because I have one question that I know every Knicks fan is going to ask you, and I want to make sure other people have the chance to avail you if you have the time. Would the Knicks entertain trading RJ for Donovan Mitchell?
I mean, look, certainly they don't want to move. They don't want to move RJ. Ideally, like, their vision would be Brunson, Mitchell, and RJ. Now, they've got one of the things that Leon Rose, mentioned in a statement, because he hasn't really spoken to the media in well over a year at this point, but he mentioned in a statement after the draft all these picks that they have and the flexibility. Well, given the fact that Rudy Gobert was traded for 4 picks and then a pick swap, you got 5 total. The Knicks can certainly do that, if not more. That's more the route I see them trying to go. And if they did give up RJ, then I think from their standpoint, they're going to try to give up a lower number of picks. RJ at the end of the day was a third overall pick. And, I know obviously Miami's going to try to make a run. Tyler Hero's their kind of trade chip. Some are going to view certainly RJ ahead of Tyler Hero. I don't know how big that gap is, though, ultimately. In terms of moving the needle of whether Utah, if Utah's looking at both those teams, which one would, if it would make that big a difference? Because I think you can make an argument the Heat have a chance to be better in the coming years, and the Knicks, given their track record, those picks could be more valuable, and they have other teams' picks as well. So I think that's more the route, if anything. They don't want to give up RJ. And then I know, look, the other thing, too, is yes, they're going to have to try to get into contract negotiations with RJ, and certainly he's going to want to get paid so he can get a rookie scale extension coming up. But if you're Utah, certainly you're going to ask. It's going to be up to New York's preference as far as what they would want to do, because then you're going to, like I said, if you're going to give up RJ, you're giving up less draft picks. But my understanding is that they don't want to obviously give up RJ. They'd like to have him as their 3 with Mitchell at the 2, Brunson at the 1, and then you've got Randall at the 4, and Mitch Robinson at the 5, ideally. And I don't know what that would look like in the East ultimately, but at least then you're certainly improving the team compared to last year as you look to try to go forward, Chris.
I definitely can see that. I want to make sure if you have some time that other people might be able to get questions. Andrew, do me a favor, mute your mic for us. I keep trying to do it, but it creates a little bit of feedback for some of us. We'll go first to Who Run the City as the host of Knicks-ish. We'll get the question started with them. What you got for Michael Scotto?
Shout to the spaces. Those spaces, a big fan. I listen a lot. I'm a big fan. Breezy with the Brooklyn Nets vlog. My guy T-Time, he does Nixon-ish. We got the podcast together called Who Run the City, where we go back and forth about who run the city. I say we the city champs, but anyway, to the question, you're talking about the one KD and Kyrie staying. That question.
Well, no, I was seeing if you had a question for Mike Scotto of Hoops Hype while he has a time up here. He's pretty locked into all the latest trade rumors as well as a couple
Oh
of.
yeah. I do. Shout out to Mike Scotto. I wanted to ask, don't you think it'd behoove the KD and Kyrie to prove that? Well, what I will say is this. This is a better question. You know what I'm saying? Well, I got you. What about us moving Steve Nash to the front office and getting a new head coach?
Well, this is what I would say. Kevin Durant wanted Steve Nash here, so I don't see that personally. If Kevin Durant's coming back, I don't see why they would do that at this point.
You put Steve Nash in the front office because, I think it's mutual, though. I don't think it's just KD, as far as I'm hearing. I heard that it was mutual in Joe Tsai and Sean Marks. They had a relationship with a Steve Nash. And it's like, maybe he's better in the front office, kind of like what Boston did. Respect to them. Just get a new head coach and just hire him in a different position. Like, don't fire him or nothing like that. Just, he got a different job. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't.
I love.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a pair of glasses on, but I don't see that right now. I'm gonna be real with you.
Try to do it like at this point in the off season, like the who you gonna get to replace, et cetera, et cetera. Jordan, hop up in here, man. What do you got?
Oh, what's up, guys?
Not much, man, but I hope you're doing good. What you got?
I don't know. I'm doing all right, man. I'm just hearing everybody take pot shots at the Lakers.
It's not a pot shot. Let's ask Michael Scotto. Mike, with the Lakers and Russell Westbrook, is there any movement on any potential trade?
I mean, I wouldn't say anything is close like that. I mean, look, for the Lakers, they don't want to give up, and I had touched on this a little bit on Hoops Hype, but the Lakers don't want to give up, 2 first-round picks to move Russ. And if you're gonna, obviously there's been a lot of talk about Russ for Kyrie. Well, if the Nets are going to get Westbrook in a Kyrie trade, they're going to need another pick to flip Westbrook to a third team, whether it's San Antonio, Indiana, whomever, because that's not necessarily in their plans. Certainly, Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons on the court together, spacing wouldn't work. That's not, that's just not something they would be trying to do. So, no, I wouldn't say anything is close at the moment. And, obviously Darvin Ham has been preparing for the scenario, the Lakers coach, that they're going to end up being with Russell Westbrook on the team. And he went into his meetings with the team and outlining his plan to get him back to, the Russell Westbrook that we've seen and how he can be effective with LeBron and AD. Worst case scenario for the Lakers, if they do end up keeping Russ, like, I don't think people necessarily grasping this as much, but he's on a huge expiring contract, like $47 million. So I know, like, the Lakers are going to want to maximize LeBron and AD's, prime together, but if worse come to worse, you got all that cap space you could try to use, and, you're not going to want to just, like, the only way I see that is, like, if they're getting Kyrie. If not, I don't really know where else right now he's going to be trying to go at this point. They've had, there's been other talks previously, about, like, Gordon Hayward and stuff, but, more smoke than substance. You know what I'm saying, Chris? So to me, like, obviously, Kyrie, they would love to have. And when I say they, really like LeBron. Because, like, LeBron knows that he can win with Kyrie, and I think it's at a point where, given what's available out there and the realistic assets they have, that's their best shot to improve the team now. Like this season, Kyrie would be on a short-term expiring contract. Theoretically, he should be on his best behavior to try to get a new max type of contract going forward and get the value more so that we're accustomed to seeing for him, financially. The Nets played hardball with him for a reason over the past few years. And so I think Kyrie, whether he's with Brooklyn or not, is going to be motivated to have a really good year. And I think certainly time will tell, but that's my sense as far as those talks with those two teams and whatnot.
All right, I know you got only a few more minutes, so I'm going to ask a two-team question here. John Collins was all the buzz about the Atlanta Hawks looking for a new destination for him. Nothing's materialized. Is that over with? And Colin Sexton, like, the market seems to be non-existent, and I'm wondering if that was more like of a depressive move by the Cleveland front office so they can try to sign him back at a lower rate. I actually thought there would be movement as Sexton, for Sexton, like in San Antonio or even Charlotte after what happened with Miles Bridges. What are you hearing from the Sexton and John Collins idea of trade opportunities? Because they were pretty rampant just 2 weeks ago.
I'll start first with Sexton. I mean, look, I think, and we saw this a lot last year, teams are becoming very hesitant to give out offer sheets. And if anything, it's usually going down with a sign and trade. Look how long the Lowry marketing situation took. Devontae Graham ended up switching teams with a sign and trade. Like, to me, that's been the biggest thing right now. Restricted free agent, and you're seeing it with DeAndre Ayton right now too. For Sexton, the biggest thing is, like, look, you've got a guy that in extension talks, okay, was looking more at something around the $20 million range. Okay, probably a little bit more than that. Then he gets hurt, and now that moves the needle to a large degree against him in some ways. And so you've got Cleveland now countering with, well, if we can do something in, like, Jordan Clarkson-ish type of money, somewhere maybe in a 13 to 15 million range, then I think maybe on a short-term deal they would do that for a couple of reasons, Chris. One, that type of money you could flip in a trade. and make stuff happen. So I would look at that. And then you've got after him, who would you ask me about?
John Collins from Atlanta.
I think for John Collins, basically the biggest thing for him is that, if they could have moved John Collins, for something like the 4th or the 7th pick, yeah, that would have been ideal. Certainly that did not come to fruition, but
might have gotten a phone call right there.
Just switched to LTE for a sec. My Wi-Fi was going down. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you back.
Okay. Yeah, so for with John Collins, look, certainly if Atlanta could have moved him for the 4th or 7th pick, something in that range, they certainly would have did that. But obviously that never materialized. I think now the way they're looking at the team with DeJounte and with Trae Young in the backcourt, it doesn't behoove them to move John Collins yet. There's nothing out there that has really tickled their fancy. So unless the team comes in now, like I saw Travis Schlenk and Landry Fields in Summer League, unless the team comes up to them and maybe sparks some new conversations, they do value John. I mean, he's certainly a good player. I think for him that he would just like more touches a little bit, but he's remained efficient in his role and what he does. Just hasn't been enough to get him. You got to remember, this guy's still a young guy, and he's still got upside going forward. He fits what they do. It's just he would like a little bit more touches. And I think, maybe with DeJounte there and another playmaker there, maybe that happens. Maybe he gets more lobs. But time will tell on that. I haven't heard anything imminent there as far as John Collins goes.
Going out the door, do you have a quick Summer League story you can share, or you don't have enough time?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Dre's nightclub was fun for the 2 Chainz concert, and then they had 50 Cent the next day, so that was a lot of fun. I'm not going to name names, but a lot of NBA players were there. Just a great atmosphere. I think 2 Chainz probably started around 1:30 or 2 in the morning, so that was fun. And I'm trying to think what other. As far as dining goes, shout out to Maestros. They were excellent. Catch was really good. Loved their sushi and everything there. And was there anybody else? Had breakfast a little bit at Primrose and Park MGM. Outstanding. That's my behind the scenes intel as far as Vegas like that. And yeah, I'll keep it with that. That's good enough for a recorded space.
Yeah. I am beyond jealous. I could not make Summer League this year. Hopefully next year, and I'll meet you out there. Sounds like you had a good time.
Listen, brother. Don't get me wrong. I certainly work hard, but when you're in Vegas, you definitely have to go out and maximize it. And I love seeing a lot of people. I mean, obviously, seeing executives and agents around the league and the players, but writers. Some people weren't traveling as much because of COVID. It's been good to see everybody. I think a lot of us are all excited to have the locker rooms back open. Really going to move the needle for us in terms of what we do and the access and trying to get guys. And
did they open the locker room back up, Scotto?
Yeah, I mean that's what's expected. So
that's nice. That's gonna be good.
I mean, again, everything got to come to fruition. But I mean, I would say this, Brandon. Certainly. The access, to talk to players and stuff, I felt was better this summer league than last. Just in terms of being in the tunnels and stuff and being able to pull a guy to the side, things like that. I actually did a sit down with Jay Sean Tate after he got his contract extension done. I shouldn't say extension, excuse me, that's the wrong term. He re-signed with Houston, but yeah, I mean that was fun. I'll be working on that this week and a couple other things. Spoke to Jamal Murray a little bit at a New Balance event that he had going on. So yeah, I thought it was a productive trip and a fun one at that, and looking forward to putting some of that stuff out there for you guys soon on Hoops Hype.
All right, make sure you go to hoopshype.com. I'm pretty sure he'll have something about Jamal Murray and his impending return from injury. So make sure, wink, there's a tease, wink, Follow him, Wink, at hoopshypewink.com. There you go. One of the best in the business, and I say that in humility. The fact that he's able to come in here and spend time with us, I'm very appreciative. Thank you so much, Mike. I from all of us.
Nah, you got it, Chris. Always my pleasure, man. Appreciate the kind words and the support. So you know me, brother. I try when I do have some time in the middle of everything, and like, yeah, obviously, like I'm getting messages in the background, but it's all good, man. I appreciate a little. I need to sometimes like step away from the phone for a sec and take a little break myself. So definitely appreciate it. It's always good to catch up with you and your listeners as well. I appreciate the questions. Always thought provoking and whatnot. And I enjoy your spaces, man. Keep doing what you do.
All right. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, hoopshype.com is where you can go on your phone right now. Put it in your bookmarks. It is the literal diary of the NBA. You'll get your news and your rumors, as well as great breakdowns in terms of cap and contract mechanics. You can follow Michael Scotto. Michael A. Scotto is the handle, and his partner in his podcast, Yossi Goslin, as well.
Yeah, Chris, you got to let him know because there's another Michael Scott that like is a reporter on politics for New York One, and I always get a kick out of like people getting us mixed up. Couldn't be two more opposite, but hey,
that's why I said A. I came back and said the A.
Yeah, man, that the Mike A. Scotto, I had to put that in there, man, because I think he got the original. Like just without the A, but obviously the A is abbreviated for my middle name, you know, if y'all can put that together. But
yeah, look, if you go to a page and it's not talking hoops, run away. There you go. Milwaukee Bucks star Chris Middleton had surgery in the early July to repair a torn ligament in his wrist. Is coming out. That is on ESPN. That is Tim Bontemps and Adrian Wojnarowski. And Lonzo Ball is progressing. However, GM Mark Eversley has kind of hinted that there might be a little delay in his return into training camp. 808s, texted me early this morning, both upset and ecstatic because one, upset that Ball is likely to miss some time, but ecstatic because he was right.
Because he sounded depressed yesterday a little bit though, bro.
He
was down bad.
He was, and you could tell because he was pretty ornery with everybody.
So he sounds like Saint all the time.
You know what? There is a correlation between those two. I have found on Spaces about.
I don't know. I think it's changed. Brandon has taken over the negative Nancy thing, especially when the Nets offseason ended. It flipped. Like I got called negative Nancy by Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon is taking that by mile.
Being right about Steve Nash and being right about.
If you didn't know me pre-KD days, this is nothing compared to what I was.
All right, so I need Lakers fans up here. If you're a Lakers fan, I need you to come up on stage. Got too many Nets fans, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Saint, come up on stage. You're a Lakers fan.
Hey, there's a lot of Nets fans in this spaces right now, so shout out to them. They came in force.
Lakers fans too embarrassed.
Hey, Chris and Saint, what about your Kings fans? Where are they?
See, like I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like there's a joke. And like you're just deading the joke for like no good reason.
Thank you. And this guy owns Charlotte Hornets season tickets, bro.
I know.
And he's coming at us.
Listen,
like I live in California, so that automatically means I live in Sacramento.
you live in Sacramento.
Yeah, bro. He's got bad jokes.
Hey, Chris, this man runs a De'Aaron Fox burner account, okay? If that doesn't tell you what he is, then I don't know what to tell you.
And you run a completely bad joke Twitter page named Brandon. So
it doesn't make any sense. That was terrible.
Because it's bad.
I'm gonna take a break because Sam Mills. So bad that it knocked out my headphones. That is rough. That is rough. Hey, Noah, like Appreciate that you have your hand up. Do us the favor, like and retweet the show card, shoot the follows, and then you can pop up. The cool thing about this button is it allows the co-host and the host to continue the conversation, and that way the petty squabbling can be, removed from everybody's ears. Because like the cool.
I like petty, Chris. I like
Yeah,
petty.
because like that's what it is. The pettiness of the situation has now made almost every Net fan petty. Like, I want to talk about the Knicks real quick. I can't even talk about the Knicks because like it'll only create more pettiness, right? But let's do it this way. Who has the better season next year? The New York Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets? And then we're going to get into some Lakers talk. Your thoughts, pickup card game.
I mean, last time I checked, the Brooklyn Nets still had Kevin Durant, so I think that's a simple question, man. Until the Nets don't have Kevin Durant, the Nets are the better team in New York. That's me being a Knicks fan. The Knicks are coming, but the Knicks don't have Kevin Durant.
All right.
Can I say this? Even
Sure.
us with just Ben Simmons and whatever, even if both of them are traded and we have Ben Simmons and whatever we get back, we're still better than the Knicks.
Stop it, man. That's
I don't know about
where you
that.
go too
I don't know
far,
about
Brandon.
that.
Come
Yeah.
on, man. Be
No,
reasonable,
I'm
man.
being realistic.
He was just
Can I ask a
blamed
related
for
question?
being negative, and now he's being positive, and then like you're all like being negative towards him.
It's not about, for me, it's not negative and positive with Brandon. It's just about like unrealistic thought process.
That's
Maliika.
every take from Saint.
Are you going to? I just have a quick question, Chris. Are you going to get to Summer League at all, or is that tomorrow? Because I'm about James Wiseman. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, well,
I'm literally.
if you've got something, go ahead. But yeah, Summer League was going to be a little bit tomorrow, just because.
I can wait tomorrow. I was just curious about what you got going on. It could wait till tomorrow. I'm good. I'm gonna drop down.
Okay. All right. Cool. Jordan, hop up in here before Brandon and Saint go back at each other.
Nah, man, like I'm just gonna say, like the whole who's better between us and the Timberwolves. Like it's very obvious that the Timberwolves are better than us since they were better than us last year. And they had one of the best defenders in the league.
You sound depressed.
That's bad,
man.
man.
You sound depressed that your phone is depressed.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't depressed until Scotto mentioned how hard it was gonna be able to move for us because not getting Kyrie, I can take not getting Kyrie, but
hardcore
like roster for another reason. I cannot take it.
Robot impression I've ever heard.
Oh, Jordan, I feel so bad for you because like I can make out the words. I know what you're saying. I don't think most others can. It sounds like you're stuck in a blender of depression. Go ahead, hop out and come back in, and we will allow you to come back up so you can get your Lakers take off, and I'll have some good accompanying music for you. Joe, the historian, you too will need to exit and come back in. You have some reason you can't come up. Drew's up here, though. Drew, who has a better season next year, Sacramento Kings or the Los Angeles Lakers? And how bad are the Lakers compared to the Minnesota Timberwolves?
I think that's a disrespectful question, and with all I know about basketball, LeBron James on a team, I expect them to do well. Obviously, what you're really saying is, what's the likelihood that LeBron or Anthony Davis get hurt versus the likelihood that the Kings are good? That's kind of what I'm hearing. But as long as they're healthy, that's not a real question.
Well, the last that I have seen, Anthony Davis was not able to finish the year healthy. He's looking to come back. I've actually seen some of the workout videos where, yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is shooting the basketball now. You can relax. But my question really is based on their free agent acquisitions. Like they were given a gift by the Spurs, rescinding their qualifying offer to get Larry Walker. I think that's Lonnie Walker.
Yeah, sorry.
I think that's a great pickup, by the way, and he should start ahead of Avery Bradley. And if he doesn't, then ouch. Juan Toscano-Anderson, I think, is a great pickup for the culture, and more specifically, he's a great practice player. Like the players out of Golden State praised him and how he was able to continue positive energy practicing. That is the grind of the NBA. It's not necessarily the games. That itself is a grind, but the practice, day in, day out, same players, same coaches, same voices. Like you need a player that has the ability to do everything right every time in practice so that you can grow continually in a positive way. Thought that was phenomenal. Thomas Bryant coming back, taking a flyer on him, combined with Damian Jones. That's two younger bigs. If they can be healthy and they can develop it into a backup system, I still think they're short one, front court player, but that's good. The question is everything else. And I think the Kings look deeper than the Lakers. So we'll go to Drew, then Jordan. We'll get this Lakers talk on. Joe, the historian, is up here. And we'll get everybody's takes on how bad the Lakers are going to be behind the T-Wolves. Go ahead, Drew, and then Jordan.
So obviously, there's a lot of truth in what you said. I agree with pretty much everything. The one thing I will say, similar to what's going on with Kyrie having a one-year deal, I think that a strategy is to wait till teams are more desperate. Being that they know he's gone after this season, why give up, Russell Westbrook when we could potentially get him for free? So I think there's a lot more in the future where we have opportunities to make moves at the deadline and put ourselves in a good situation where if we are competitive around the deadline, we can make that move.
All right. So you're looking at more of a long-term, hey, we want to be competitive by the deadline. So what are you saying? You need 30 wins by the deadline?
Yeah, I think even this season, had we had a good stretch at the end, we could have squeaked in an 8 seed like Brooklyn did. So I think a lot of it is just seeing how the season plays out in terms of the health of AD and LeBron. And if they are healthy down the stretch, why not go for it with that last move and go all in?
All right. Jordan, you're back with us. Let's see if your phone is no longer depressed from the news of Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Oh, yes. So much better.
Okay. Basically what I was saying is if the choice came between we can only do one of two things. We can add Kyrie, but we have to keep Russ on the roster, or we don't get Kyrie, but we can move Russ. I would take moving Russ all day long. Personally, I just don't want this guy on my roster, and it goes even beyond basketball at this point. That exit interview that he gave at the end of last season, where he just basically threw the entire organization underneath the bus and didn't hold himself accountable at all in any stretch of the imagination, that never sat well with me. And I just this group of players just doesn't work together. Him, AD, and LeBron just don't work together, and I just feel like we need to get rid of him in some way just to get this to work somehow. I just don't see it. I can't watch Russell Westbrook on this team for another year. I just can't.
Man. All right, everybody. Look, this is something I feel the pain. And I just want every Laker fan to know that if you are like Jordan, if you are struggling, we are here for you. It's never easy watching your team on the back end and seeing the teams that, as a fan base, you used to make fun of start catching up. It's a surreal experience. I lived this experience through the 76ers. Although I am a unique Sixers fan because when Allen Iverson took us to the finals and defeated the Lakers in Game 1, I said we needed to trade him because we were about to get our asses kicked, and this would be the most value he would ever have in his career. Ever since then, Sixers fans, they don't really like me. But you're here, and you see the likes of the Sacramento Kings creep up in your rearview mirror, not doing King stuff. I know you got to be worried about that. The Memphis Grizzlies, they're not going away. Ladies and gentlemen, I have last year's Western Conference standings right in front of me. I'm going to go from the top to the bottom. Phoenix Suns, 64-18. Memphis Grizzlies, 56-26. Golden State Warriors, 53-29. The Dallas Basketball Mavericks, 52-30. The Utah Jazz, 49-33. The Denver Nuggets, 48-34. The The Minnesota Timberwolves, they were 46-36 and shocked the hell out the world. The New Orleans Pelicans crawled back from the dead to get to the 8th seed at 36-46, followed by those LA Clippers, 42-40, which is really weird. Followed by the San Antonio Spurs at 34-48. Those are your top 10. So the Spurs dropped down and the Jazz dropped down. Well, that leaves the Lakers at 33-49, the Kings at 30-52. Dare I say, a retooled Portland Trailblazer squad at 27-55. And my dark horse to possibly push the Lakers out of the play-in, those Oklahoma City Thunder. Tell me, Jordan and Drew, well, what do we got here? Where are your Lakers going to be next season?
No, but like Chris, this thing, Chris, I can handle the Lakers being bad. You know, I can handle I've seen the Lakers be bad. I can handle the Lakers being bad. What I can't handle is not enjoying the basketball in any stretch of the imagination. That's what I can't handle. And last season was even more excruciating than the baby Laker years. Like it was that bad. Like I have never had that amount of pain watching the Lakers before. Like it was like the basketball was just so bad. And it's like it's one thing like if we don't have the talent or we're losing and things like that, but it's like there was still some level of enjoyment with the baby Lakers. Like with that team, there was absolutely no level of enjoyment at all. And like I just can't go back to that. So it's like as far as the moves that we did make during the free agency, we did get younger and we did get more athletic. I like some of the guys we have in the summer league. I think Scottie Pippen's going to be a decent player. I think Swider's going to be a decent player. I think Lonnie was a good pickup, especially for the value that we got him at. But like, and it's like I do think if we are healthy next year, I think we're gonna make the play-in tournament next year if we are healthy, but that's still a big if because AD's got to play 60 games, and I'm not sure he can do that. Like he played like maybe like 40 between 40 to 45 games last year. We need him to play 60. Is he going to stay healthy for 60 games? I don't know. LeBron, yeah, he's incredibly durable, but he's also older and his body is a little bit more brittle than it used to be. Can he be there all the time? It's just like I don't really.
Well, I got somebody who's reached out and you have touched their soul and they want to speak directly to you, Jordan. That is Daniel Artest of the Daniel Artest podcast and also the 9450 Women's Basketball Pod. Daniel, you want to talk to Jordan directly. Like we hear that he's just down so bad, as many Lakers fans are starting to be. What do you have for him?
Yeah, man. I need brother Jordan to come up to the head of the mosque and come receive these lashings real quick because and I'm not Muslim. I don't know why I just said mosque. My bad. But Jordan, you messed up one thing with Westbrook, brother. And you was right in everything that you said, but you also forgot you got to understand something that Westbrook was scapegoated all season long, brother. So of course, when it came to that exit meeting, he was the way he was, as far as like, not being not holding himself accountable for whatever happened with his game during the season. They threw him under the bus early. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you need to get the whole entire picture, what I mean, before you want this player, gone or whatever, which, he had a bad season and stuff. I just think honestly that and hey, Chris, play the music, man, because play the funeral music, man, because this is fun for me. I ain't gonna even hold you. You know what I mean? Y'all stuck. Yeah, y'all stuck. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not getting Kyrie this year. Look at your roster. You're trying to figure out, trying to find a silver lining. Y'all happy about Thomas Bryant, Juan Toscano Anderson? That's what you're happy about? Lonnie Walker, they let him walk for my Spurs, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what you have. I look at your roster. This is what you got. Oh my God, Now, besides LeBron and AD, we already know those two are legends, but it's going to be the same season for y'all this year, brother Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So listen, just everybody get rid of your Lakers trade things or whatever. We already heard that Kyrie and them staying is over for that. So Kyrie's not going to become a Laker. Get over it. Deal with Westbrook for the next 82 games. And then just be on your way, man. But nah, seriously though, I love Lakers, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the Lakers is like they like family, but I always just talk to the Laker fans because y'all just be going off the deep end for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Checking the food, but like, what's the seasoning? Damn, I got bars, Chris. I should be a rapper, man.
Yeah.
The
Fun
metaphors is crazy, man. But nah, seriously though, man. I just need y'all Laker fans to understand this is what happens. Y'all want everybody. You know what I'm saying? Oh, trade for him. Oh, future Laker this. Y'all got him. Now look, basking in the ambiance of shit. Sorry for cursing. But basking in the ambiance of the sewage, the skid mark on the underpants of society right now, which is the Los Angeles Lakers fan base. I'm in love. I'm happy about it. You know what I'm saying? I be and Meta be so mad because I be trolling his ass every goddamn day in the text messages, man. He is pissed. I'm like, you not walking through that door, old man. You're about to be 43. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. Just deal with it this season, Laker fans. You know what I'm saying? Just deal with it. Y'all gonna have some type of success, hopefully. But like, stop fronting like Thomas Bryant is y'all freaking savior and Juan Toscano Anderson. Really?
Great practice play, DA. I'm telling you. Fun fact: Russell Westbrook was the most consistent Laker last season.
God damn. I mean, yeah. You're right, Chris. Hey, Chris, you're right. He was.
He
He
was.
was consistently bad. Yeah, you're right. He definitely was, man. I'll give him team MVP, Mr. Consistency in the building, y'all.
Look at that. Check out 9450 women's podcast. It's one of the best out there, and he has his own podcast, Daniel Artest podcast, that goes through pop culture, talking about it the way he wants to talk about it. Go ahead and tell him when the next episode drops.
Oh, now I dropped 3 episodes yesterday for my women's basketball content, Chris. I'm done, so y'all can just go and check that out, whatever. I'm actually created a football podcast for all y'all football fans out there. I got somebody else hosting that, and I also got another real basketball talk podcast, which is I'm not even hosting it no more. I'm WNBA, women's basketball full time now. I just come in here just to just come in here and talk some basketball and hopefully get y'all Laker fans corrected. This is what happens, Laker fans. I'm telling you, this is what happens. Y'all wanted everybody. Now y'all got everybody. Y'all got Juan Toscano Anderson. I'm out, man. I love y'all, man.
All right.
Juan Toscano Anderson.
Don't worry.
Wow.
Don't worry, everybody. Austin Reeves is also going to show a phenomenal sophomore improvement.
Hillbilly Kobe. Yo, y'all call this dude Hillbilly Kobe. Are y'all serious? Are y'all serious? And Chris, I'm never animated like this. Are y'all really serious for calling this dude Hillbilly Kobe, right? Y'all was happy about Matt McClung? Really? Who's the next one? Max Christie? This is what y'all happy about?
THT is going to put it all together this season. Okay? I'm telling you.
Listen, no, he's not, man. Traded him earlier, like 2 years ago. It's too late, man.
I'm THT train.
His game is receding like that hairline, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's over.
You are being mean today for no reason.
I'm not being mean.
Oh no, I can't look. I cannot make fun of.
Look,
it's all love, Jordan.
We were the oldest team in the league last season.
At
this point, I just want a team that's actually going to guard somebody. Because last year we didn't guard anybody. Nobody wanted to guard anybody. So I just want to see guys give some effort on the defensive end this year because we cannot be the second worst defensive team in the league again. I can't.
Y'all have a better defense this year. I'm sure of it.
Hey, Chris, you heard that though. Hold on one second. I'm gonna let you go, Chris. Sorry for cutting you off, but you heard that, right? Now he changed his tone a little bit. Rejection is acceptance when you're dealing with a changed mind. Styles P once said that in one of his raps. Go check him out. One of the greatest of all time. I'm telling you, man. That's what I'm talking about, Jordan. Lower your expectations, brother. And that's what I'm talking about. Start from the bottom. I love you, brother.
There you go. I want to get Joe the historian in here. Drew will respond as a Lakers fan. We've only got about 5 to 10 more minutes, so we'll get ready to close out. Joe, go ahead. What you got?
I'm trying to do something different in my marriage. So me and my wife, we set up this thing where it's basically, if she calls it or I call it, it's basically like no social media. So she called it yesterday, so it wasn't no social media. So next thing I know, I look on social media and KD and Kyrie staying. Is this confirmed? Just want to ask that right quick.
Right, look, it's not. It doesn't need to be confirmed. It's going to be like a matter of time. I think all this is everybody understanding that there are only so many avenues available. Like they're just trying to dead the noise so they can either get a deal done or not. Like wait for Woj, wait for them to come out because after that comes out, then we can confirm it. Just right now, it's just part of the static. That's all.
And the other thing is that I want to thank Kyrie Irving because of the pain of the Laker fans as a late birthday present. I just wanted to thank him for that because this is hilarious how bad they wanted Kyrie. And now, say you can see like the pain on the Lakers, like and the DMs and stuff like that, and the texts and the IGs, the pain for the Lakers. I just want to say thank you to Kyrie for that. That's a late birthday present for me, so thank you.
Oh, and the hits just keep on coming. Dany D is just on fire in the chat box. And if you don't like to come up and talk, you can always be part of the conversation down below. And I got to mute your mic. Your feedback is crazy, bro. Yeah, thank you. Oof. You can hop in the chat box and continue the conversation down below. I want to make sure we get Drew's response. I want Nick to be able to talk as well. And then we'll go into final thoughts of the day, which is going to be really interesting with a couple of Net fans up here. Drew, we'll go to you first. What do you have in response to Daniel Artest, Lakers propaganda?
I'm not disagreeing with anything. I think it's important to recognize that these players have legacies after they're done playing basketball, and for them to just flop and end their career horribly wouldn't be good for their brand. So I would say that, like 35 Ventures, these guys are going to make sure that they make their money and have a good brand when they leave the NBA. So to think that their careers are over and this is the end of their career, it's kind of funny. I know for me personally, I experienced that with Kobe, where we had a few years where he wasn't talked about, he wasn't considered the best, and then he kind of went out with a bang. So I see that similar with these guys where they're kind of planning their exit just as much as everything else. And I think it's important to mention how Kyrie's deal ends after this year. So if you're going to give up all that, knowing that he's leaving after this year, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's all I got.
All right. Appreciate it, Drew. We'll go to Nick. Nick, anything that you've heard, let us know and tell us your thoughts as we get ready to close out here in a few minutes.
Stop whining about Russell Westbrook. Stop crying about him. Stop complaining about him. Like, you know what disappointment is? Disappointment is a function of misplaced expectations. It's a you problem, not a him problem. If you look at Russell's last 3 to 4 seasons, his shooting percentages, like most of his efficiency numbers are kind of right on line. He's not playing a different brand of basketball. You just weren't watching that closely. Like, this is the guy he's been. And so, yeah, he's not going to have the same counting stats because he's sharing the ball with LeBron in various games. Like, yeah, he had to come in and adjust down a little bit. But, like, the late game decision making, the kind of somewhat reckless drives to the hoop, that's been a feature, not a bug, of Russell Westbrook's game since he was like 14 years old. And so, like, I get it. It was a bad season. Anthony Davis was hurt again. LeBron was putting up like good stats, but couldn't lift the team because he can't do it by himself anymore. Like, the LeBron from the mid-aughts might have been able to get this team up into a 4 or 5 seed, but like this version of LeBron can't quite do that. And that's okay. That's not even a diss. That's just like the arc of time and how it bends toward justice. And so, like, I'm sick of listening to Laker fans complain about Russell Westbrook. The team was trash all year. Like, it was a bad roster from top to bottom. Malik Monk was the bright point. Malik Monk! He's like the 15th best player to come out of his college in the last 10 years. Like, he didn't even make a full 5-on-5 game of the best players out of his school. I'm not sure Malik Monk could start for like 2 or 3 of the Kentucky teams that like were contenders over the last 10 years. And so, like, I just think acceptance is important. Daniel talked about it. Like, acceptance is important. Hopefully this year, everybody's healthy. The defense obviously will improve because Anthony Davis should play. It's an odd year, so Anthony Davis is supposed to play 60 games this year. And, like, that's what you can look forward to. I personally do like Dany Walker signing. I think it's a good signing. I think Juan Toscano-Anderson's a good signing, too. I'm not sure who's going to shoot the ball, but, like, these are guys who will defend and play hard. And, like, I think that's good. And it's just, like, temper expectations and be reasonable. Get into the playoffs as, like, a middle seed, a low to middle seed. And, like, hope that playoff basketball is different because playoff basketball is different. I just like the scapegoating of Russell Westbrook for all of the disappointing and like poor decision making by the Lakers over the last 20 months is like tired. And like, you know what you sound like? You sound like a poverty franchise. You sound like my fellow Knicks fans. You know what I mean? Like you sound like Brooklyn Nets fans right now. Like
Whoa, watch it.
You sound like the fans of teams who like haven't been to the promised land and like haven't attained greatness and don't have like 2 semi-prime Hall of Famers like in their starting lineup. Like Anthony Davis is a Hall of Famer. LeBron is still playing Hall of Fame level basketball, even if it's not LeBron level basketball from 6, 7, 8 years ago. Like, it's okay. It's okay that your team is like kind of mid. It's not Russell Westbrook's fault. Russell Westbrook isn't going to make Taylor Horton-Tucker into like a passable starter. He's not going to turn Austin Reeves into Steve Nash. He's not going to turn Malik Monk into prime J.R. Smith. Like, none of that is his fault. It's not his fault that the front court is thin and injured. It's not his fault that the back court can't distribute. Like, it's not his fault. He plays the same game he's been playing for a decade. Like, and you should have known it when you signed him. And if you didn't, then, like, that's kind of on you. Go do your research. That's kind of where I'm at on Laker fans and the Russell Westbrook saga right now. Like, there's a year left. Stop whining.
I'm with you. And when I say that, fun fact that Russell Westbrook was the most consistent player for the Lakers, like, he was second in scoring. He was first in assists. He was first in steals, first in total rebounds, first in defensive rebounds, second in offensive rebounds. Mind you, offensive rebounds, second. First in free throw attempts, first in free throws made.
He played 78 games for you last year.
He would have played all 82 if they didn't sit him down. And yet they are crying. I appreciate it, Nick. I want to make sure that we close out on some positivity here. I'm going to let Dany D close out on her final thoughts. Jay from Heat Spaces, Justin Shock, he's joined us. We'll get his take, and Emily Austin as well. Dany D, your final thoughts for today.
Well, my final thoughts, Chris, as usual, you sign up for what you get. Y'all got caught up, Laker fans, and all the triple doubles that Russell Westbrook gave OKC, and y'all thought that's what y'all were going to get. Y'all forgot about what happened in Washington, but y'all just saw that. I knew the minute y'all signed him, it was going to be a hell of a clown show. Not saying he's not a good basketball player. He's just what he is. It's like opening up a box of candy that somebody gave you and finding nothing but rocks. It's like when your parents play that practical joke saying they got you a PlayStation 4 and it's actually nothing but books in there. That's what y'all got, but it's okay. Chris, big up to you for playing the Come to the Altar music for Lakers fans because it is a sad day for them. Much like the Knicks. The Knicks will probably have a better season than Brooklyn. I think Jalen Brooks is going to give them a good, solid foundation, ball control, and it's just going to be real interesting. With Lakers, it's a sad day when the Clippers might just actually be better than you in your own city. Um, uh, like I said, LeBron's online right now enjoying Prime Day, getting his top pick hair powder to cover up those spots. I mean, 2K does a great job covering the spots. You probably might need to holler at them. Just
So
go ahead and cut it off, bro. Just cut it all off.
that is so mean.
It's the truth. Embrace the baldness. Nothing wrong with that. My husband embraced his. He was 21 when he was losing his. He had no middle, nothing beside. Like the George Jefferson. He cuts his off all the time. Just embrace it. And Chris, big up to you for this community. I've got to listen to some new voices in the basketball world, WNBA especially. I didn't think the community was this tight for WNBA, and I've got on to different podcasts because of you. It's so positive, refreshing, and people have good insight. You can tell the love of basketball is here. And by the way, nobody cares about baseball. That's an old man's game. When it said
Excuse you.
America's
The Mets are
pastime,
playing. Don't talk like that.
Right, America's pastime, right? It's past their bedtime. It's time to put that old stuff to bed. That's like me listening with my grandparents in Detroit and listen to the Tigers on the radio. No, we can't do that. Anyway,
well, those are Tigers. I can understand that. They suck.
They were good. They were good back then. They were good back then.
The
We're not
Mets
gonna do that.
too, Brandon.
We're not gonna do Detroit hate today. We're not gonna do it. 3-1-3.
I gotta get going, everybody.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. Sorry to talk so much. I love you, Chris. I love you. There you go.
We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll do Saint and Brandon together at the same time.
No one will be able to tell us apart.
Yeah, no, that might not be a bad thing.
Well, every bad take that comes out is coming from Saint.
Hold on, wait. Oh, I thought that was Saint. God damn it. To this day, it's hard to understand y'all too.
I don't understand how you can't tell them apart. They sound completely different.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to be associated with Saint. He has so many bad takes.
Like one is very pro Mets and anti everything else, and the other one is a reasonable.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah,
right.
Thank you.
That's what
Thank you, Jay. Hey, Jay, did you get my birthday wishes?
Yeah, I did. Thanks.
All right, cool.
Thanks for like forgetting. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't forget. I just
you
thought
forgot.
I thought no. I thought the choosing
you only turned 30 once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, come on, bro. It's not that special. I'm just saying.
Wait. This dude gets freaking Perrier grapefruit, and he's going to complain about somebody saying happy birthday? Is this what I'm hearing? This is what I'm hearing right now. Like, I don't get it, man.
Listen, understand. Perrier sent me some more shit the other day, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yo, when is Perrier sending me?
Ladies and gentlemen, Francisco Lindor just hit a 3-1 bomb. We're up 4-0 on the Braves. Let's go, Mets.
Just
drop him.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, drop him.
Where's my Perrier? That's all I want to know right now. That is the only thing that is important.
You know what? When the Miami Heat either get Donovan or Kevin Durant or both, I'll go ahead and ship you some. How about that?
Getting KD, but the Donovan thing might happen.
Yeah, I know.
Saint, final take, Saint. As Brand, they're cheering his Mets.
Yeah, I don't care about that. The Yankees are still best team in baseball, best record. So, anyways,
ain't nothing new there.
Apple that raises up on home run.
Yeah, well, yeah. Either way,
if you're a Yankee fan, Chris, like I always say, I'm a Yankee fan, by the way. But if you're a Yankee fan, we act like we've been there before.
Well,
exactly.
I'm an Orioles fan, and I deal with the game with more respect. But
I understand, Brandon.
Exactly. You notice. I'll say this: the last thing about Brandon, that like Brandon's like, synonymous with Jay, and Jay's a Met fan, but you don't hear Jay out here running his mouth like with all kinds of ridiculous takes and like.
By the way,
he's respectable.
BK, not
not you. But anyways, like, listen, I chose violence. I chose violence with you yesterday first because of some of your wishful thinking about getting KD and Kyrie. So I chose violence first, but I did recognize your birthday. So happy birthday.
But
Thanks,
listen,
brother.
at the end of the day, I am here for all the Nets drama. I want these guys to return. So any report that I hear or see or anything that kind of pushes it more towards that way, I'm all for it. We'll see what happens, right? At the end of the day, whether Kyrie wants to be here or not, the Nets could be like, "We don't want you here,"
You know
and
what?
they could ship
You know
him
what I'm gonna
off.
do for you, bro. I'm gonna do a post later on today, and like put
Oh
on my
God.
sources hat, and I'm gonna say according to sources that I know of, that is
Yeah,
looking for him.
Perrier?
Don't,
According to my source from Perrier, KD
yeah,
and Kyrie are gonna be coming back one more year to run it back. I got you, baby.
don't do the sources. Just don't.
Yeah. Just don't. Hey, I'm here for it, Chris. Great show. Pick up card game. Go buy your ass one, please. Help that man out. That man is doing big things, and I'm here for it and watching it, and I'm loving it for you. So, but yeah, I'm here for all the drama, man. I want it to keep going. It's keeping my summer a little bit exciting. So,
Oh, and shout out to Brandon because I actually do want to see a Subway Series. I'm not gonna lie.
I do too. Yeah.
I want the Yankees and Mets in the World Series so that I can trash him all because, like, let's say the Yankees are just better. It's okay. Like,
Thank
even
you, Chris.
Brandon. Hey, Brandon. I see you're still down there. I just did that for you, bro. That's love right there. You gotta get that love.
Let me get JFK. He messaged earlier. He only has a short window. I'm gonna give you 60 seconds so we can get Emily in here as well, and then we're gonna close out with the pickup card game at slamgoods.com. And then I've got a take on the ABA and the NBA to close out the show. JF, 60 seconds. Go ahead.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on, Chris.
I mean, bro, what
Chris,
do you want? Like, I set you up, and then we got chirp, 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 chirp.
Wait, but Chris, I told you, man, you gotta give me a second. Sometimes the Wi-Fi not connecting right. You know, I gotta get everything situated. But
I never have a problem with my Wi-Fi, FYI.
yeah, but Chris, you're at the crib off of Spectrum Wi-Fi. You know, I gotta deal with that. You know, the loosely Xfinity Wi-Fi that you gotta try and catch. And
No, I don't.
off.
I don't pay for Xfinity. I don't. I am not a customer of Xfinity.
Well, lucky you, Chris. Well, I got a couple new propagandas to get off today. I want to give two shouts out to Coffee Cockburn and Josh Manoy. If nobody knows exactly who they are, they're actually some Jamaican basketball players. Jamaica has actually expanded itself and has introduced the game of basketball to the island, so we can see more than the Dan Patrick Ewing and the Jamal Murray. But shouts out to them boys. But yeah, just shouts out to them. We getting a lot more guys up there. Oh, okay, I got you. So we got a lot more guys, you know, coming in from the island. There's doing a lot more developmental things over there. Also, yeah, Donovan Mitchell's on the rise right now. Dwayne Wade had a video leaked. The question was asked, are you trying to get Donovan Mitchell to Miami? And in a small hint of breath, he said yes. So we can go ahead and look out for that, even if we don't hit on one of the Nets players. But that's my propaganda for today, Chris. Appreciate it.
All right. Most definitely welcome. Up next, we're going to give the floor to somebody who you should follow now because pretty soon you won't be able to because she'll be too famous and she will not have time for even the likes of Saint or Brandon, let alone myself. And that is Emily Austin, ladies and gentlemen, coming off a fantastic Summer League where she got to interview the future stars and submit herself as her own star on the rise, so to speak, in the NBA world. Emily, good afternoon. Good morning, I believe, if you're still in Vegas.
Yeah, I got back from Summer League this morning. It was awesome. However, I just came here to listen to you guys because, Chris, you are the superstar. But I joined mad late, so let's just go on to the card game because I want to see you guys do that.
All right, no problem. I'm definitely not a superstar. I'm just here Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Hosting a basketball.
Making everyone's morning, period.
You notice how she didn't refute your claim that she would not have any time for Saint or Brandon anymore. You noticed that, right? I cued in on that. Like, that kind of hurt.
For you too.
That hurt.
I'm joking. I love every person in this room. I will always have time for you guys. Besides Brandon and Cash.
Where is Cash?
Well coached answer.
A minute. Where's Cash? Is he okay?
He's okay. I think he's just been hanging out with his girl doing some summer things.
Okay. Just want to make sure, man. Like, it's been a minute. All right. Pickup card game, ladies and gentlemen, is the phenomenon that is sweeping the WNBA, and not just the WNBA, your hearts as well. Once you see it, you'll understand it. And there's a tweet up there already. I'll try to put it up in the front, and it shows the quick version. So it's a real 2-3 minute game that teaches you the basic construct of the entire game. And one entire game only takes about 30 minutes, maybe 25. It's $25 for a first edition copy. I urge you to just look into it. If you go across my timeline and there's this thing called Moments, and I really got to be better in doing this. Well, we'll try to put it together where you can see some of the community members who have a picture of them and pickup, so you can see that there are indeed real people who are not catfishes hawking a product that doesn't exist and that isn't cool, because it does exist and it is cool. So if you go to @_GameFlow, you'll see him actually in WNBA All-Star Weekend going and doing the groundwork of promoting his product. And that is essentially what I am doing here. And I do this willingly without charge because I am a believer in the dream that he has created. The sharing of passion of the game that I love, that you love, is what he's done in the pickup card game. $25, slamgoods.com, the online marketplace from Slam Magazine. So you know it's legit there. Pickup card game. Thank you for your patience. What do you have for your final takes of the show?
Thank you, Chris. As always, you are an amazing human being, and Emily's right. You are the superstar of the show, so thank you. My final take is simple. Well, one, I am in Las Vegas right now. I got on this morning. I spent the weekend in Chicago for All-Star and also for Nike Nationals EYBL, support the young girls out there. So I'm glad to be in Vegas now. So if you're in Vegas, shoot me a holler. I'm happy to meet up. I will be wearing my pickup black t-shirt all weekend long. I have like 6 different copies of it. So it's not the same t-shirt, it's the same design. So hit me up and I'll be here to definitely show you how I play the game in real life, in real person. Final take is Candace Parker. Oh, I know, Emily. Next time for sure. We'll for sure link up, Emily. I'm glad you. Really proud of you. Final take is Candace Parker. I can't say enough. She is the oldest woman to have a 30-10 game in WNBA history. She dropped 30, 10, 3-3 last night. Phenomenal ambassador for women's basketball. I think she deserves all her flowers. So that's my final take, Chris. Candace Parker. Thanks, Chris.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome. And thank you for creating something that you are putting yourself out there for. That's the hardest part of creating something that's personal. So props to you. Going out there in the real world, living with the idea of rejection is something that a lot of people allow to stop them from chasing their dreams, right? And it's something that I've said, like, if you have an idea and you haven't done it, it's because you've already told yourself that you cannot do it. And you've been able to show that you can do it. And hopefully other people see what you have done and say, holy shit, I have this idea. What do I need to do to maybe take the next step and write out what can be a reality? So thank you for inspiration.
For sure. And last take, Chris, I think the key word is consistency. I think you show out each day by being on this show. If you're consistent, right, and take little steps each day, you eventually reach your goal. So just take a small step each day and you'll get there.
Absolutely right. And with that, if you look up top, not at the very last tweet, because I reposted the fry tweet because a lot of you are actually getting ready to eat that. And I wanted to make sure to say, don't. You have the power to say no to food like that. But if you go one before it, this is a tweet from Front Office Sports. Sam Smith is going to be a name that you should listen to. And you probably heard, if you pay attention to a lot of the basketball talk behind the scenes, died in Indianapolis. I happen to live here in Indianapolis, and even the local news picked this up. And the reason why is he was a former ABA player, not just a player, he was a champion. He won the ABA championship with the Utah Stars. Now, why is he on the local news and in USA Today as a former ABA player? Well, it's because he was dying in a hospital, penniless essentially, after life's challenges, led him to not be able to overcome financial instability. He was dying in the hospital waiting for his pension, which the league had agreed into negotiations to honor. And yet he couldn't have access to it. He had to rely on, the help of charitable donations, specifically one major one that provided the most support, the Dropping Dimes Foundation, to struggling ABA players and their families. The NBA has finally done the right thing. They've taken the first step in helping players that, to be honest, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have the game we have today. And they do so by pledging $25 million, which will be split amongst the 115 eligible players remaining in order to support them in their final years, for most of them, life, to allow them to live comfortably while we basically live with the splendor of their sacrifice. And I say it that way so you can understand, like, these are the players that sacrificed notoriety, sacrificed a constant paycheck, or any bit of personal development to chase their dream. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have what we have. And I urge the NBA not to stop at the $25 million. I urge them to go and do more, because there are other players who are going to be able to benefit from this, and this is the WNBA. If we can now actually admit that we have treated the ABA players of yesteryear wrongly, and we can go ahead and say we got $25 million for you to help fix the mistake, we can also do better and invest in the W. And this doesn't even cost money. It costs time. That's it. Put in the time, let's make a better product. And then that way, when the likes of the Rewind come up and they can talk about the American Basketball Association and its greatness and splendor, they can also talk about how it laid the foundations for the NBA today and the WNBA today. Shout out to Sam Smith. He died in a hospital on the east side of Indianapolis. Changed the world that we live in terms of basketball. Thank you, sir. Have a good day, everybody. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Peace out. All right. Props to everybody for coming through, making this community and show the way it is and what it is. Thank you. I see you, Brandon, McGrady, Tristan, Dip Horace, AC, Scotty, Coco, Afisha, ASAP Brooklyn, Bean. Thank you for coming in here. If you like what you heard, shoot a follow. Head over to YouTube, where you'll catch all of the episodes recently converted, powered by audiolabs.io. And if you do ride your bike at night, do wear white. That's something Tony Kornheiser used to always say. I'm a huge fan. Maybe one day I'll interview him. See you later.